Found out food's very expensive. Kind of unfortunate
That's right. Unfortunately, Deacon had his fridge go down. What, 2, 3 weeks ago?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And that's like I just got paid the other day, so now I can afford to have food again, which is nice.
Yes. Always good to hear. Well, congratulations on that, and I hope you stocked it with lots of good stuff.
Appreciate it. I got eggnog for the nog chug later, so
Ooh,
anyway.
nice.
Anyway, sorry.
Oh, you know that is a soft spot for me.
Same. Like the Southern Comfort finally hit the shelves, and I bought it instantaneously.
You just kind of made me realize that um, I'm not even realizing what time of year it is at this point because
I know, dude. I know.
it is. Let me take a peek. I don't think I've had where I am a day below 80 degrees yet.
What a nightmare. Yeah, dude. It's October. Isn't that wild shit, dude?
Yeah. So but I've been loving it. I've been getting tan. I know you can't really tell because I'm trying to like flush myself out with like every light I have in the room right now. But let me see if I can like get a after. But like yeah, so like I'm getting tan, and honestly, like first time in my life, I'm actually getting some color, and I love it. So
Congratulations.
thanks. Um, so yes, welcome. Always a pleasure. And next we have Afid. How you doing, Afid?
Well, thank you. Really looking forward to Halloween.
I know Halloween is always my favorite holiday. So it's like, oof, I'm excited for it. I was actually kind of like thinking, I was like, all right, what are you going to dress up for Halloween?
Yes, of course.
Would you feel comfortable telling us what you're going to dress up as?
I will do when I figure it out.
Okay. I love like dressing up for Halloween. I usually dress up as like some type of like comic book character. I did the Joker one year. I did Deadpool one year. Um, a couple of things, but um, one of the things that I also kind of love is Mega Man, and I'm the community that I live in right now is has the word Wily in its name. Yeah, yeah, you absolutely see where I'm going with this. So I'm on Amazon. I mean, first of all, crossing my fingers that like I don't have to work on like the Tuesday that's Halloween, but also I'm like piecing together a Dr. Wily costume so I can like be Dr. Wily in Wily. And so yes, welcome. A pleasure to have you also. And do we have Gully on mic?
Yeah, yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, Gully is in between bites, but yes, on mic.
all right. Welcome, Gully. Welcome. by, by no means am I trying to interrupt what you're eating. I
No,
completely
no, no.
understand.
No, it's good. Happy to actually make it because yeah, it's been, man, work's been crazy.
Yes, and we've noticed, and we have very much greatly appreciated that you have still been able to take the time to be a part of this.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Looking forward to getting into it. There's some true contemplation from Gully's character that's been kind of going on ever since the revelations came to be.
Honestly, like I'm excited to see what you bring to the table because you are one of the characters that has left me in the dark with that. Um, so I'm curious to see what happens with that. But yeah, so in terms of the recap, our party is technically currently split at the moment, where Gully and Afine are at the inn in Kakariko Village, and Deacon and Leto are in the Great Deku Tree, also in Kakariko Village, and they have had the whole party's really had a bit of a difficult day last session. We were in Zora's domain, and the episode started off with the party kind of like surrounded and King Il not knowing the intricacies of, or even that there was an occurrence of the cataclysm. So Deacon had taken some time to explain to Norin, who is head of the Zoran Guard and a long-standing NPC in this campaign, kind of like what has been happening as a result of the cataclysm. So far, what we've kind of run across at this point is no real NPC has given a direct acknowledging of the cataclysm itself. There have been moments of confusion, moments where people kind of get lost in their thoughts, moments where people will look at other players, NPCs situations, and kind of get lost in like a fleeting familiarity, but no express knowledge of the event of the cataclysm. So when Deacon kind of explained what the cataclysm was with Norin, it opened him up to a lot of things. Deacon told him about a number of things that happened in his past, such as Norin himself at one point being the figurehead of Zora's domain. And through this, Norin kind of picked up on a couple other things with both Ifine and Leto that I'm not going to talk about because I don't want to say anything I don't want to say anything premature. But so Norin has kind of like had his eyes open to the way that the world is kind of functioning right now. And he by no means knows everything, but he at the very least knows enough to kind of start to express why King Il has been having visions of Ifine his entire life without having direct memories of her. And for the viewership, what has happened is that King Il in another timeline, in Ifine's timeline, they were siblings, but in this post-cataclysm timeline, that's not so much the case. So where he has been getting these visions of basically what is his sister, he thought that he was coming under some type of spell or curse or magical attack from her, which as everyone else but the king knew at the time was by no means the case. So we have a lot unfolding in Zora's domain, so much so that our party has temporarily fled the Zoran kingdom to get a moment of respite in Kakriko Village. So, going down the line, as I kind of like bulleted a couple points in the recap, start with Leto and ending with Gully. Is there anything else that you kind of want to add into the recap? Whether it was something that you knew happened, something I neglected to mention that you feel is significant, or something that you feel you would like to express about your character. And also, absolutely nothing is also fine. No pressure.
So there's one big thing.
Mhm.
Leto scried on Afine's dad.
Hmm.
found out he's officially working with Ganon and they're together. And he kind of did that, like, I looked at you because you're looking at me type thing with the big evil smile on his face.
Yes, yes, they are working together, and her father knew that you were peeping on them during his inauguration, which we still have not found out what is definitively going on there. What is this plane of existence? Is it that there have been a number of
Ideas.
creatures? Yes?
I have ideas now that I have to, just work into play. So
Okay.
that's all I have.
All right. Working ideas. Um, but yeah, it's not something that has been definitively ironed out. We simply know that there is an alternative plane of existence that does not take place directly within Hyrule. So things like scrying do tend to be a little bit difficult, if at all possible, at any given moment. But um, in that plane right now, we have definitively found that it is inhabited by Ganon, Qyburn. It would have been inhabited by Tico from the Fire Temple. And I don't have we mentioned anybody else definitively? No, but there are other. I know we narrated kind of like that there have been like shadowy type figures, and it's coming together. It is piecing together. Yes.
When you did Deacon's dream sequence, you mentioned the hooded. Uh, well, I don't want to speak out of turn, but the hooded figure that was implied to be from the Water Temple in the area.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was a dream sequence, so I don't know if you're counting it, but it's worth mentioning.
Nope. It is absolutely. It was the dream sequence was absolutely valid. But we have not. I don't think we have unhooded the character. Like I know
Correct.
I
did
believe
not
that like
check at the voice.
yeah. So I know like Deacon has insight to this character, and he has this strong belief of who this character is simply because the Water Temple itself was Deacon's moment of cataclysm.
Mhm.
So I kind of and my opinion on it, which your opinion on this absolutely matters more. I feel that Deacon has a very strong inkling to who it is, but it's not strong enough that he wants to make the assertion as to who it is, especially given.
That's fairly accurate.
Yeah.
This could be very personal, and it's not worth speculating.
So, but by no means are you out of turn because you are next. Is there anything that you would like to retouch on from the last session?
Well, having Legend Lore show me like everything everywhere all at once, I'm surprised I haven't taken any psychic damage. Hmm.
I think
I mean,
I'm pretty sure we can deduce what that's attributed to.
yeah. Very true. Very true. But yeah. You can just hopes he can help his friends feel better. That's the only thing that I really took away from the last session so far.
Yes, the party has been for these past 18 sessions going through various degrees of kind of fracturing and dealing with their own issues and trying to help the teammates with the other issues, and there have been very difficult times, and I think last session was definitely one of those times where it kind of ranked up on a personal level for some of those characters. So yes, the kind-hearted Deacon was ever so concerned with making sure that people were okay. In fact, I believe it was Deacon that suggested Kakriko Village just to like get away from Zora's domain.
Yeah, just to take a calming vacation from where all of the sad things are happening.
Yes, a brief respite. Well, yes. All right. Efine, is there anything that you would like to bring up from last session? Anything that you that I've neglected to mention? Anything that you might want to bring to the forefront that I have not talked about?
No, there's nothing really that springs to mind. Afine is, other than the fact that Afine is going through a lot of emotional turmoil, but I think that's pretty clear. Yeah, sorry.
All right, that is perfectly fine and good. As I said, nobody is by any means obligated to discuss or divulge anything on the matter, but more so, you absolutely have every opportunity. And of course, Gully, how you doing? Gully, anything that is going through your head or anything that I have neglected to mention from the last session?
No. Gully is very simplistic, and the only thing that's been kind of going through his mind after, discovering that bit of knowledge or lore is how can he somehow tap into himself, his other selves, for either more knowledge or either more ability and strength, so that he can find out where Beatrice is, if she actually exists in this timeline or not. But yeah, that's just the basis of it. His thought is, okay, can I make myself smarter, or can I use the knowledge of my other self somehow, or how can I tap into the strength of my other selves to do more? Is it even possible? Yeah, man, that's really all he's kind of thought of beyond is Ifine going to be okay? Because he still hears her kind of crying a little bit here and there.
All right, very good, well put. In fact, yes, I would have to say that um, Gully's ability to have this laser focus on finding either what had happened to his wife Beatrice or kind of like resolving that mystery has been a very strong driving force in Gully, and a very admirable one at that as well. And you know what, the fact that that is where that is the first place that his mind goes with that, figuring out kind of like how can I use this to get to the bottom of what's been going on. I think that's incredible. Absolutely. So, all right. So we will start off at the conclusion of the long rest with Deacon and Leto in the Great Deku Tree and Gully and Ifine at the Kakariko Inn. So, you know what? Everyone give me a D20 to see who wakes up first.
I was up late comprehending what just happened.
Yeah. Deacon is out like a light.
Oh yeah, might be beneficial if I was in roll 20, huh?
Yes. So while while Gully is locking on to roll 20, so so the sun starts to come up around Kakariko Village, and the first noticeable sounds are the chirping of the birds, which are, not too distantly followed by the Deku and the Kakariko kind of starting to make their way out of their homes and kind of like bustle about for their day. And Leto is the first person to awaken inside the Great Deku Tree, where you kind of look over to Deacon, and he is just like out cold. Has like a little kind of like inhaling and exhaling sap bubble out of his nose.
Classic. I love it.
And currently, Flora being nowhere in sight in your immediate peripherals, what would you like to do as you are the first to awaken?
So it's weird waking up, with like nobody awake. So I guess it's time to just kind of stroll a little bit, because it's the first time he like doesn't feel in danger. So he'll walk out of the deco tree and walk down the nice little canyon. Notice the bloody left and just leave it there because doesn't care at the moment, and just kind of walk into town and just see what's going on.
All right. So as you start walking into the town, I mean you are familiar with the Deku and the Kakariko, having been to Kakariko Village multiple times yourself already. But walking around by yourself, as in like without your regular party, you get this general sense of really how much taller you are than everybody kind of like bustling about. Um, is there anything in particular you're kind of looking for? Anybody in particular you want to kind of speak with? Anything like that?
I'm just randomly just walking around, seeing if for some reason Saria pops up. Because, the last time she popped up out of nowhere, just, looking around, seeing if she's going to pop up and be like, where'd you guys go? Something like that.
All right. Give me a investigation check.
He died myself. Yay, nay.
I heard the roll, but I haven't seen it come through. There it is.
18 if I have guidance, otherwise 15.
Okay. I would say, given the intentional act of it and the fact that you're looking for specifically you would take the time to guide yourself. So you kind of think that you are just strolling around, perusing the area. You think that that's how you look to everybody. But in fact, you this little Kakariko comes up to you, and it's like, and they go, "Hey, Mister, you look like you lost something."
Yes and no. I'm just kind of, waiting for the rest of my people to wake up and seeing if, for some random reason, ghost spirit of like the forest temple keeper is, gonna pop up at it somewhere.
They kind of like cock their head at you, but it's too early for something like that, and they just walk away.
Eh, I
So but you continue to kind of like investigate, and maybe a couple times you catch various glimpses. Maybe you see a Kakariko with short cut green hair kind of ducked behind a building. At the corner of the eye, you see Kakariko that appears to have a very similar dress to one that you are familiar that Saria would wear. But whenever you go to investigate or you look at whatever you catch in the peripheral of your eye, you never find anything conclusive. Yeah, in fact,
So I will.
the one that had like the green hair that ducked around the thing when you came around and you kind of like tried to maybe like tap them on the shoulder or grab them and turn around. When they turned around, it was actually a Kokiri boy with like a heavy face full of freckles. Very clearly not Saria.
Okay. So I guess after a while, I would just probably go to where the inn that my friends are staying at.
Mhm.
And I'm not gonna go inside. I'm gonna see if I can climb and just sit on the top, and just kind of just commune a little bit with nature. Just smell the fresh air. Just crisscross applesauce. Just enjoying just nature.
Okay, so like on top of the roof.
Oh yeah, I would try and climb on top of the roof, which hopefully I could do and not hurt myself.
The roof is being a one floor inn and Lido being close to 7 feet tall. I would say that if he puts his arms up, he can like touch the roof.
Okay.
So
Well, just
yeah, you would have no problem kind of getting onto that. As you do, however, climb onto it, you do kind of like hear the branches kind of like crackling, and if you make your way towards, excuse me, if you make your way towards like the center of the roof, you can start to feel it kind of bow beneath you.
I'm gonna try casting Druidcraft as much as possible, trying to regrow things, make it stronger. If I have to use mending, I'll use mending. I'm gonna support myself on this roof.
All
That
right.
sounds like a good idea to him.
Absolutely. Sounds good. And, all right. So let's see. Who is that was 14. Okay. So Athene, you are having this sleep that didn't start off all that great. Um as I said, I think I mentioned in the last session that you pretty much had um exhausted yourself to sleep. Um and by all means, you gain the full benefit of a restful sleep, but just when you start to come to, you just feel that little bit of achiness and grogginess, and you know, I mean, maybe the bed could have been a little bit more comfortable, but um, the noticeable thing that wakes you up is, in fact, the crackling of the support beams on the roof. Nothing feels You don't get the immediate feeling that there's anything kind of like dangerous, like the roof is actually going to crack. It just sounds like the house is very drastically settling. Um, Maybe a couple of small twigs end up kind of falling into the room, but nothing alarming.
Huh.
So, what do you
Must be
observe when you wake up?
Efine's first thought is probably there's a bird on the roof. It, either way, she's going to get up and try and forget everything that's happened recently and take up her horrible coping strategy, which is pretend and run. So she's just going to get up and start her morning. Head out into the main room.
All right. So immediately just kind of like making your way out, not feeling overly alarmed, but really seeing no reason to kind of stay in the room. You make your way out into the main hall of the inn. And I would say, as you first come in to the main hall, you can hear a lot of kind of like you hear a lot of kind of activity from outside the inn itself. But when you go into kind of like the main lobby area, it's fairly quiet. You see a Kakariko tending to the desk, you being the first person that they've seen in the morning. They immediately seem a little startled. They go, "Oh, when my shift started, I was informed that we had guests, but I've never seen a Zoran before. Something they neglected to mention. I hope you had a restful night. I hope you enjoyed your stay."
I'm sorry I startled you. Yes, it was very pleasant. Unfortunately, we came in quite late last night. I have to admit, it's my first time in this village, but it's very pretty here.
Oh, thank you. It's our own little slice of paradise, I suppose.
It is a very pleasant one.
Thank you.
This may be an odd question, but is there anywhere in town I can get a sewing kit?
Well, I mean, your best bet. We don't have a very diverse kind of scene, but we do have a general store, and yeah, I think that if you head in that particular direction, that would be your best bet.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
Sorry, which direction would that be in?
Oh, I apologize. So just kind of head out the front door and make a left, and it's 2 stores down on your left.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
Sorry.
All right, so Athene heads out and exits the. One second. I've been toying with the mic, so whoever speaks next, I'm probably going to have to quickly adjust you. But so Athene heads out of the inn and starts to head to the general store. And okay, and then we have Gully. All right, Gully, you awake next, and as you awaken, you notice that there's kind of like I would imagine that you kind of also stayed up for as long as you can. So the last thing, whether or not it was the last thing you heard before you fell asleep, it was definitely the last thing that you remember before falling asleep of hearing a fiend through the door, and you kind of wake up. The sun is shining through your window. You can hear birds. You kind of get just immediate feeling of a very unique and special, restful, peaceful rest. So, what are your first thoughts as you awaken in the Kakariko Inn?
Just as he awakes, goes to stretch, so rested and peaceful, and then his stomach starts growling, and he gets a little knot, and he's like, "Oh, Okay, gotta find some food.
All right. So not finding any food in your room, you head out into the main lobby, and and you two are immediately met with a new Kokiri at the front desk, to which they look at you just completely like stunned and blown away. And it was like, oh, I think you might be bigger than the last one. How big do you guys get?
Oh, oh. I mean, we come in all shapes and sizes. Uh, pretty big. We get pretty big, and let me tell you, I can get very, very big.
No, please, not in here.
No, I wouldn't fit. I wouldn't fit in here.
Oh, listen, I wouldn't even know how to explain that to my boss. So,
Oh, yeah. No worries, no worries.
oh,
But if you
but
ever want to see, just
no,
we
no,
can go outside. I can show you. But yeah,
oh,
no
okay.
worries.
I mean, maybe, in my, during my off time. Um, yeah. Um,
Yeah, it'd be fun.
it's still kind of like stammering and stuttering. He goes, but I hope and trust that you had a restful evening. And I hope that you enjoyed your
Yes,
stay.
I did. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was quite nice.
And that he's like, well, I imagine that um, the other guest was your friend, and um, she had left not too long ago. Um, yeah, she was asking about where to procure some things, and I kind of sent her over into the market area for some general goods. Um, she seemed in a little bit of a rush. And yeah, and at this point he's so stunned. He's just like he doesn't know what to say, so he's just like volunteering all this information. You detect like there is a small amount um of like rising fear in him. Not that you've done anything to incite it, but just like gazing at like your pure size and armor, and you have a sword with you, and as he looks up at you, in his head he's like, this guy could crush me like I was nothing. And he's just saying like anything he can. He's like,
Well, thank you very much for that information.
um, happy to help. Happy to help, and
Yeah,
and thank you for choosing Kakariko Inn for all of your restful needs.
absolutely. I will definitely recommend this to others that I encounter.
Give me
Very, very good hospitality here.
5 seeds, good review.
Absolutely, 5 seats for sure.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anytime.
All right, so as you head out of the out of the Kakariko Inn, what's your passive?
17, I believe.
Okay.
Come on. Yep, 17.
Okay, so yeah, you come out of the Kakariko Inn, and you just kind of like stretch and adjust yourself, feeling the freedom of being outside of that cramped building, and so you kind of get a fleeting glimpse um, of a fiend heading in the direction that the guy inside kind of like alluded to, and you also spot Leto atop the inn, kind of just in this meditative state, and you currently don't see Deacon anywhere. So, what is the first thing you choose to tend to?
Looking the two that I just saw, I assess, look around the village, and determine which direction is probably going to take me to food.
All right. So,
Nice.
give me a perception check to try to get a whiff of a scent of food.
Did that roll come through?
Yep, 22. All right.
Okay. Okay.
So, as you see Fiend, he headed east. You get a whiff of almost what kind of starts to you would associate with like roasting chestnuts to like a south by southeast direction. Um, an area that you would be familiar with, recognizing the maybe like the tail, that the southern tip of the scar is located kind of in that direction.
Mm, okay.
So, is that the direction you head in?
Yep. And then I kind of yell up to Lito, Lito, hey, I'm headed for breakfast. You want to join me?
No, I'm good at the moment.
All right.
Enjoying nature.
Good view up there?
Actually, pretty good. Everything's kind of small though.
Yeah, you're kind of far away. All right.
No, I could stand on like my tippy toes and everything would be like lower than my sight.
The roof is about 9 or 10 feet high, so yeah. Like the lowest part of the slant of the roof is about 9 to 10 feet high, yeah.
Nice.
It's almost
Yeah,
like you're in like
alright.
a hobbit village.
All right. Okay. Yep. Do your thing.
Okay, I'll see wherever you go and then I'll meet up with you when everybody else is awake.
Okay. Yeah. I got to get some food. Stomach's growling. It's a long day yesterday.
Prepared.
You know what? All right. Bye.
Hey, there's probably not meat, just in case you're wondering. Bye.
No meat. What? Okay.
All right, and lastly, um, Deacon, in your slumber, you get this nice sensation of comfort and home and familiarity, and unintentionally in doing so, you lose complete lack of time. And you know what? Give me one sentence with no more than 6 words. It doesn't a phrase of no more than 6 words. It doesn't have to be a grammatical sentence of what this peaceful dream is that you are suddenly awoken from when you realize that you are just way too comfortable. So, like, you know, as we all do, like in those moments when like you oversleep for work and you realize it because the sun starts like peering through the back of your eyelids a little bit too brightly, and you're enjoying the waking moments of the morning, and then the panic sets in that you probably shouldn't be. What is
Okay.
Give me a brief glimpse of a dream that Deacon is feeling.
If I had to go for something very peaceful and pleasant for him, in 6 words exactly, cuckoo as far as I can see. Like, just counting them as they jump and play around. Chimkin is there. we're all doing chimkin size. Somebody's playing jazz, and we're just walking around in circles, very peaceful, just like the first time that we spent time here.
And then the
Basically,
reality
just
sinks
playing
in.
in this. Yes, and then I wake up, and I'm like, oh, it's back to being a child soldier again.
Yes.
Oh,
And the
anyway.
and the Deku tree seems empty. You see an area that Leto had been sleeping in. You don't currently see Flora in your immediate area vision. And all these nice peaceful noises seem so much now further in the distance, as they're no longer being incorporated into your dream. So what is your first thoughts as you awaken?
Tikun is going to just kind of look down at his hands. And just kind of do that thing where it's like, huh, I'm awake, right? This isn't part of being asleep. He's gonna like look around for any trace of Flora, like just see if she's at all, dangling or some such. Um, and I assume seeing nothing. He's gonna just kind of like wander outside the DQ tree. Um, I imagine for a point, he seems like oddly fixated, like just like kind of staring over the walls around the DQ tree,
Mhm.
and just like he's thoughtful for a couple seconds. Um, and then he like just kind of sighs, goes back, shoulders his pack, and just kind of makes the trek back into town.
Question: how close do you get to the walls?
Honestly, I would imagine there is a part of him that just like goes up and touches it, just because like I remember when like he's gonna like almost remember fondly like the time that during the DQ, like during the invasion on the Great DQ Tree, when all the Redeads were here, he like climbed over the wall very briefly as like a defense mechanism,
Mm-hmm.
and then regretted it. And he's just like, old times, good times. Been a while. But yeah, and then he'd probably just like, so he'd just like rub his hands over, and then probably just like, then he'd go, I imagine.
Okay, so as you go over to the closer to the walls, I would imagine that there's something else, something a little bit more dark and nefarious that is, at very least, being anticipated as you approach. And
Like somewhere between that and just the like nostalgia, kind of like if you remember what it was like to be like the last Halloween, like kind of like sorry for interjecting, but it's like you tell a scary story to a friend of yours about how you were scared, but obviously it's not a big deal because now you're alive still. So
mhm, right, so
anyway.
this is absolutely playing in the back of your head, as you almost as if you are. You know what? It is exactly what it is. You feel that there is this part of you that is kind of like daring you to approach the wall, daring you to touch it.
What they
And
call the imp of the perverse.
yeah. And except this time it might actually be a part of you that's doing that. But
But yeah, yeah.
not to say for sure,
Mhm.
but it is a nagging possibility, given recent revelations. And when you make it to the wall and you touch the wall and you kind of take a moment to kind of feel that moment of openness to see if you detect anything that you have detected in the past.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing there.
Hmm.
You do not feel any presences. You do not feel. You do not hear any voices. You do not hear anything kind of nagging or tempting you in a bad way.
Hmm. You can kind of like closes his eyes for a second, shakes his head. It's like, huh. Uh, I um, probably I guess he just like looks almost confused for a second. Well, no, definitely confused for a second. As yeah, he just kind of like walks away. And he's just like, um, man, it just ties into his memories of like, well, that thing of which we do not speak, amongst other things. And yeah, he just kind of makes his way away from it, like back into town. Just kind of thinking about that idly on the walk.
All right. So, as you start to approach into town, is there anything specific that you're kind of looking for or kind of perusing about for anything like that?
I'd like to see if there's like a weapon store that's open right now.
Okay. So, you would know that the weapon store is just for like point of explanation, it is adjacent to the weapon store. So as you start making your way south, the first person that you spot is Lido meditating atop of the inn.
Hmm. Um, I'll just kind of wave at him. Hey, buddy. Hope you're doing okay.
I'm doing okay. I think you're the last one awake, though.
Yeah, long night. How was your night?
It wasn't eventful.
Hmm. Sometimes that for the best. Oh. Hmm. But yeah, says gonna be checking out some armor and stuff for a little while. Uh, I I'll be around if you need anything. Okay, Lido?
I'm gonna get down from the roof real quick, if that's cool.
No.
No? Okay.
Okay.
Fine, I can stay up here if you want.
All of a sudden, all around the roof, just blackness envelops everything, and you feel like you're on a raft adrift in a sea of blackness. No, you get off the roof just fine.
Okay. So I think at least Gully went that way. By the way, Afine's dad is working with you know who, and he's probably bad. So other than that, great night. We should just keep going, get something to eat. Don't tell Afine. Yeah.
He nods slowly, and then nods once again, like a little bit faster. Gotcha. Quite the night. Gotcha.
He also I think I think he kind of saw me.
Yeah, they have somehow habit of looking at us when we look at them. Kind of scary that.
So I do have some ideas that I don't know how we're gonna do, but I have some ideas of what we should look into.
Okay, that sounds good. What you got in mind,
But
Chief?
well, the thing is, I think we all have to get naked.
Deacon looks down at himself. He looks up at you. He says, Hmm.
Already naked.
Yeah, right. Um, hmm. It's like, sorry. Not like take off clothes to go swimming.
Kind of like
One of those.
wear absolutely nothing and kind of just look over each other and see if there's like anything weird going on that we haven't seen before. Because I'm kind of thinking that maybe, since we're in a different, existence and whatnot like that, that maybe there's something that attached to us that we don't know about.
You mean like brain slug? Read about those. Well, not read, but I heard stories of those as kid.
Oh yeah, or like there's like magical glyphs and things that until you actually look for them, they don't actually see and whatnot like that. That's the type of thing that maybe under your pedal of your left hand, there's a symbol that all of a sudden will be like, "I am evil. I'm going to kill everybody," type thing. Or maybe it'll be like, "I am good and I will save everybody," that type of
Hmm.
thing.
He seems adequately convinced, and he nods solemnly. He's like, "I see. Well, that makes sense. Um, but definitely not doing that in public. Hope you understand. Not getting arrested
Yeah.
for that today."
Well, here's the thing. Um, I think that you should mention it. Because if I mention it, then it'll sound really weird. And I think if we have to break up into groups, you go with the fiend because she's a girl and you're late, so it might be. And I'll go with Gully. And since we're both guys, we'll be like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, check out the buses."
I am no longer convinced. I'm not going to ask you
Okay.
to do that. I'm sorry.
Please? Okay, I'll figure out a way.
Girls have cooties anyway. You know that. No, I'm just kidding. If he
Really?
doesn't have cooties, but still, not doing that.
Yeah.
Sorry, but yeah. I will personally comply, but like, I go no further than that. This one's up to you, Lito.
All right. I will think of a plan and make it work.
Good luck with that. I could
Yeah.
just use identify on everybody and check if we have any spells attached to us. It does work that way, so that wouldn't involve not doing that thing that you said and get us informed either way. Unless it's just ploy to see us naked.
No, if you can do the identify thing, I think it might be better.
I was just teasing you. Anyway, yeah. Here, I'll get everybody together and we'll identify us. That'll only take a couple minutes.
Okay.
Here. I take out my pearl and I like touch it to like above my snout, right between my eyes, and I cast identify on myself to see if there are any spells affecting me. I use a spell slot, so it only takes one cast.
Okay. So the immediate answer is that there is no spell or glyph attached to you.
Mm.
However, now having a better understanding of what more to look for, um, you do notice that there is an ever so like almost undetectable swirling aura around you that is just like a tinge off of the skin, and knowing what you're having a better understanding of what we've learned from um, the extent of what we learned from the day prior, um, you are recognizing that although there is nothing specifically attached to you, that there is very likely other suppressed, inactive iterations of yourself that may have something attached to them. But even if there is, it is not something that would have an outward effect on you being the you that is in control.
God, I love how appropriate this is. Okay. That works. So after a little while, I take the pearl off my nose. Say, nope, I'm clean. Apparently some alternate me is kind of spooky, but that's about it. All right,
Okay.
hop down. It's your turn.
So do you just want me to carry you while we can go get breakfast?
Ooh, that works. But I wanted to go by the armor store first. I need to buy something.
Okay. I don't know where that is, so
Oh,
point the direction and we'll go that way.
I climb onto his shoulders and point the direction on top of him.
All
I
right.
will go that way.
I am like the compass in the video game that points you where you need to walk.
Yeah. Or like in Lord of the Rings.
Excellent.
Yeah, okay. So we have Deacon piggybacking on Leto to head towards the weapon store, and while all this is happening, we have Ifine makes her way into the general goods store. Um, you kind of like duck your head to enter in, and immediately you notice it is a very well, almost meticulously organized store. They have uh, a number of things, many things that would kind of be generated towards um, Deku and Kokiri in their day-to-day life, but not that doesn't necessarily mean that they're only for Deku and Kokiri. So you see things that they're like um, things that would involve provisions for like small, brief adventures, nothing for like crazy dungeon delving. You find a number of different clothings. As you start to peruse around, there is an elderly looking Kokiri woman working behind their desk. She says, "Morning, dearie. Something I can help you find today."
Morning. I was just looking for a sewing kit.
Oh, is that all? Well, you have come to the right place. Because if there's one thing that us Kokiris are very good at, it is things like mending and clothing production. So we have a fair amount of sewing kits prepared. Are you looking for just kind of like a standard sewing kit, or maybe something perhaps a little special? Um, any rare, unique mending tools, anything of that nature?
If you have it, I was looking for one tailored to embroidery.
Embroidery, yes. Yes, in fact, and she kind of like comes behind the counter and kind of shows you the entirety of her outfit, and it is this um I mean the material itself is a little bit rough, um it looks at first glance as if it were like made of felt, but at like the base of the dress, it was a green dress, and at the base of the dress there is this like very pretty yellowish golden embroidery work, and she goes, "Ah, I did this myself."
Oh, cool. Would you mind if I had a closer look?
"Absolutely, dear." And she kind of like goes and she goes on to she steps up on like the stool that you would normally see for like customization, and embroidery of dresses. She kind of like gives herself the like back and forth kind of like twirl, and lets you take your time as you inspect her craftsmanship.
Evine's gonna take her time looking over, seeing the predominant stitch length, different techniques used, if any techniques she wouldn't already know, which was probably most of them.
So you can see like she doesn't know a lot of intricate stitchings. Like the whole thing is pretty much done with like a straight stitch, but it's done with like incredible dexterity. Um, and she's like, so I mean, I'm not sure how things are done in the fancier places of Hyrule, but I have had a very long time to master my craft, and I'm very quite proud of it. What do you think?
I can certainly say you should be. This looks incredible.
She kind of, you can see a very subtle blushing coming through her wrinkled cheeks, and as she smiles, the crow's feet in her eyes kind of deepen, um, as she is very flattered by your compliment. And so she goes, so let me grab the sewing kit for you, but while I have you here, and I don't often get somebody who's appreciative of such intricate arts. So out of curiosity, what perhaps are you looking to embroider?
I'm mostly just looking to take my mind off something, and this is an old hobby I had that I thought might work well.
Ah, I understand completely. In fact, I learned to do this from my mother when I was just a wee little kokiri girl, and um, and that is exactly where my mind would go, because idle hands create for an idle mind. So therefore, keeping hands busy is often good for one's own thoughts. Then she brings out this very nice embroidery kit. It is uh, it's in this nice little kind of rollout um, thing. Like it just starts to like undo a buckle, and she starts to unroll it, and it has all these little different embroidery and mending tools. It has these little bits of spool that are kind of like fastened to it. And she goes, I'll tell you what, you just have one of those familiar faces, and I am an old soul, and well, we tend to recognize our own, and I haven't really had an opportunity to pass my craft on to anyone in this village, as um, many of the younger Kokiri just see it, the art of embroidery, as a very tedious thing, and they don't appreciate the intricacies of looking beyond it on a surface level. So, and she kind of pushes it, and she goes, "Take it."
Are you sure it looks incredibly expensive? I couldn't. Let me say something.
Well, I couldn't feel right charging money to pass this along, but um, Perhaps if it would ease your conscience. There's many provisions in this store. Just take your pick, and I would feel better charging for that.
All right, thank you. Out of character, I didn't need anything else, but give me 10 seconds.
You get the impression that like this whole time she's been just very, sweet, easygoing, but at this last bit of conversation, you get the sensation that there is an old stubbornness to her, and this from her perspective, like she doesn't, she has no vested interest in anything that you specifically want to buy here. It can be anything from things that you'd need to a bushel of arrows to anything. But she under no circumstances will take payment for the sewing kit, and she's acknowledging that if you want to give her money, then she will accept a proper transaction beyond the sewing kit.
Okay. How much for a water skin then, and some extra thread?
Well, the water skins are only 2 rupees apiece, and in terms of a spool, like an embroidery spool, or more like a mending spool.
Embroidery spool, please.
Embroidery. Okay, the embroidery spool is. And she looks and she goes. Uh, she goes. The embroidery spool is 8. So an embroidery spool and a water skin would run you a straight 10 rupees.
All right, thank you. That sounds perfect.
All right. So she rolls up her antique sewing kit and latches the buckle on it, and she gets you the water skin and the additional embroidery spool, and she puts it in like a nice little hemp bag and hands it over to you. And she goes, "Listen, I know that that this embroidery kit is going to a good new home, and if you ever step by our neck of the woods again, well, feel free to stop by and show me what you've done with it."
Thank you so much. I can guarantee I'll definitely be visiting often to show you my progress. I can assure you it will get a lot of good use.
She goes, "Then, if I may be so forward, what's your name, dearie?"
It's a fiend.
Fiend.
And
Uh,
yours?
Everyone here simply calls me Gam Gam. And it would be an honor if you did too.
Then it's nice to meet you, Gam Gam.
A pleasure, Fiend. I look forward to us meeting again.
Can I insight check her reaction to hearing my name?
Absolutely.
I don't know why, I'm just feeling paranoid today.
All right, insight check. 18. All right. So, yeah, she just seems like there is no immediate kind of recognition or click when you properly introduce yourself and you tell her your name. She's really just a run-of-the-mill, sweet old Kokiri lady.
Brilliant. Thank you, Alia. I'm sorry, as I said, I'm feeling paranoid today.
All right. I'm going to put it in a time where, while you're still in the general store, Deacon and Leto have already made their way into the weapon store. But before we get to that, we have Gully following his nose to the wonderful smell of roasting chestnuts and hazelnuts. As you get closer, you can see a building, and the building has this plume of smoke coming out of the chimney. And as you get closer to this building, you can see that there is a fair amount of traffic coming in and out of the building. So that you get the indication that this is like the spot in town for people to be gathering to enjoy their breakfast. So let's take it from you. You are standing outside the entranceway, simply enjoying the aroma coming out of the chimney. What would you like to do? I think you might be muted.
I was muted. Yes.
There you go.
So yeah, this is definitely where the smell is coming from. And he will proceed to enter.
All right. So at least for this point of the day, this is, from what you can tell, definitely the busiest part of town. You can see that there are both Kokiri and Deku that are kind of uniformed for very specific jobs, and each of these different collective groups are kind of congregating in their specific areas. Like you have one group of Deku and Kokiri that look as if they are perhaps some type of lumberjacks, and you have another group of Kokiri and Deku that look like they're wearing like tool belts, and you kind of feel like they're more in like the construction area, and just kind of like various groups. And as you walk in through the bustle of the through the noise of what's going on, you can hear this you see this one Deku scrub kind of like running around, and it acknowledges you, and it says, "Pick a seat. I'll be with you in just a sec." As they are like running around, from what you can tell, being the only person in this area that is trying to service all these different groups of people.
All right, will do. Thanks.
So as you look around for a place to sit, places are far and few between. A lot of the larger tables have some kind of openings to them. There's a couple of different like sort of like elongated picnic bench setups. There's a couple of booths, but the ones that are open, you kind of question if you'd be able to like squeeze into. Um, and there is a couple of tables that you see, three tables empty, or you say three tables. Um, one's like a four-seater with two people sitting at it. One's full, one's empty, and one has a Kokiri sitting by themselves. And the empty table is near the the construction kokiri.
I can't sit by those scallywags. Just kidding. Yeah, he'll head over to the table that's open near the construction
All right.
individuals.
So you sit by the kokiri that appear to be dressed for construction, and they are probably the loudest bunch in the entire place. There's roughly, I would say, 12 to 15 of them, kind of in various states of like sitting and standing and walking around, and like making loud jokes and smacking each other on the back, and laughing. And beyond that, do you try to listen into their conversation?
Nope. He actually turns over to me. Hey, top of the morning to you. How are you? How are you gents doing this day?
They all in unison just stop, and like all the eyes just turn and dart to you, go, and then they go, "Hey!" Like the whole place, just like the whole section of the place just roars almost in unison, and like as it dies down, like you hear like a couple of like jokes kind of like continue on and like break the moment, and then they all kind of like turn right back to it and continue on with their way.
Yeah, okay. Well, whatever. Let's say hey.
A very friendly bunch, very very friendly bunch. You get the impression. So first thing the waitress does is she kind of like swings by and almost like very quickly slides you a menu, almost like expertly with your hand just kind of naturally resting on the table. She like forces it under as she like walks by with blazing speed. She goes, "Take a look. I'll be right with you." And
Oh, that's some serious skill. Okay.
she's doing it. And so you take a look at the menu, and it's brief, but there's a couple things on there. As Lito has warned you, there is nothing with any meat on the menu. There is a couple of salads. There is a kind of what is referred to as a nut buttered toast meal, and there is there is a section called breakfast meat substitute. And you
Okay.
can see on the menu that the section of the menu that says breakfast meat substitute is completely legible, but it appears that at some point some patron took maybe a dull stick or something and tried to like rub it or X it out simply at the offense of the menu item just simply being there for an option. So yeah, the breakfast meat substitute is listed as a the word sausage in quotes says 4 sausage links, side of toast and butter. The nut butter menu item is listed as a chunky hazelnut spread atop toast. Kind of like the equivalent of like an avocado toast. And then there's a salad item that simply states locally sourced salad greens with seasonal fruits and seasonal fruits / vegetables. So you take a look at this menu, you kind of like you ponder whether or not this is actually going to be filling for you, or if you can stomach food that they put into quotes. But eventually you decide on you have a look on your face that kind of gives indication to the waitress that you've made your selection. So she comes up in a much more ready to serve you type manner. She goes, look like you're ready to order. What can I do for you?
Yeah, I am. But I have one quick question first, though.
Yeah.
And I didn't see any on the menu, so you probably don't have it. But do you happen to have any apple butter?
Oh, she kind of like she goes she leans back ever so thing. She goes, no, I'm so sorry. And then she leans in. She goes, listen. She goes, I do, but it's not really for this kind of crowd. So, you want some?
I would love some.
Okay. So, and she kind of like points to the like nut butter section of the menu, and she goes, so I'll put it in like this, and but I'll instead of the nut butter, I'll put like a nice slathering of apple butter on there for you.
Perfect. Now, how many pieces of toast come with the order?
Well, typically it's 2, but
Oh,
typically,
I'm gonna need like 5 orders if possible.
yeah. I was kind of thinking, I mean, yeah, these cookies, I think of that's kind of how we kind of do our portions. So yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
no, it's good. Yeah, so I'll take 5 orders of toast and fruit bowl.
and like a bowl of fruit. Yeah, we can totally do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Perfect.
All right. And she goes,
Wait, do you have water?
I mean, we can do water. I mean, if water's fine, but if you want, we have coffee too.
No, 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 no. Nah, no coffee.
No coffee, just water. Okay, yeah, no
Nope,
problem.
water's good. Yeah.
All right, and
Thank you.
welcome. And she kind of like,
Actually, can you just bring like a whole pitcher of water?
absolutely.
I mean, it's a lot of bread, so yeah.
And she darts off, and the first thing she comes back with is the pitcher of water. Um, the pitcher looks like a cup of water to you, but it looks like a big cup. Like it's reminiscent of like the size of like a big gulp. It's roughly like 32 ounces. Um,
Okay.
but this would be like a pitcher for the Kokiri of the Deku. Um, so she kind of like drops that off, and within a short amount of time, she's able to kind of like get you the 5 orders of buttered toast, and they're all kind of they're all cut in half from corner to corner, and she kind of places it down. Um, at this point, I would imagine you've probably gone through the pitcher of water.
Yes, definitely ready for another.
So she drops down the toast, and she's like, oh, I'll get you a refill. She darts
Thank you.
off,
Thank you.
has it back in less than a minute. At this point, as you start to kind of enjoy your meal at this point, the construction crew has kind of left. The lumberjack crew has departed shortly after them. There's a couple of stragglers kind of coming in, sitting down. Couple of small families it appears. Yeah. So, but it has once the 2 large parties have left, it has definitely quieted down and become more peaceful.
So, construction looking crew? What are they working on right now?
Oh, well, I mean, the easy answer is building stuff, but yeah, it's just kind of the village is just kind of in I don't want to call it it's not disrepair. Um, but it's more we're trying to make more room. So when we're trying to build better accommodations for people, so the houses aren't as um, cramped. Actually, one of the next things that is on the construction list, and it's been on the list for quite some time, is the inn. They're hoping to add a second and third floor to it. So
Oh,
yeah, I mean we don't get a lot of tourism necessarily, but we do kind of it helps alleviate the housing congestion.
gotcha. For a moment there, I thought you were about to say they were going to work on a project to close up that big chasm you got going through town, but I guess not.
No, no, yeah, that's it just kind of like veers off into nothingness and then like snaps back to it and she's like, yeah, they don't really touch that. Why? Um, do you know anything about it?
I mean, it just looks pretty darn interesting. Yeah.
Are you here to fix it?
Uh, Not originally, but I mean, maybe one of my friends might know how to fix it.
I mean it's
I don't
not.
know if they really know how to fix it, but it looks out of place.
I mean, Kakariko Village is a largely peaceful place, but you know, I think we've kind of the mentality of the village is that um, things can they can be peaceful without trying to like acceptance. I guess it's weird to refer to a giant gaping chasm that can disintegrate things in an instant as peaceful, but complacency, I guess. You know, like we've learned to live with it so much that it doesn't really bother us. But um, I mean, I guess it would be better if it wasn't there.
Yeah, because kids they play and they do some of the darndest things.
Yeah, but the kids here know better. We haven't had an incident like that in a long time. In a long time, and the one kid that really the one child that met with an unfortunate accident, he really should have been kept a better eye on. If you don't know any better, you really need somebody to watch after you that should know better.
Oh, well, yeah, should say that for adults too. Yeah.
Well, in this place, sometimes it's hard to tell the difference.
Fair enough.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, we don't really know much about it, but I mean, if it were to not be there, I don't think anybody would not mind.
Okay. Well, good to know. Thank you. Hey, what's your name, by the way?
Stacy,
Stacy. Yeah, pleasure to meet you, Stacy. I'm Gully.
Gully, I will definitely remember that name.
Thank you.
Uh, and then she kind of like slops down a little like bit of paper on you, and she's like, "Yeah, like no rush. I mean, we're kind of like, you know, whenever you're ready, I'll take care of that for you."
Okay. All right. Perfect. Can I have another refill on the water also?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And
Great. Thank you.
she goes and she like takes the jug of water and walks away to get it at a refill, and you take a look at you kind of like flip the bill up to look at it, and it's like it says special toast, 2 rupees times 5 plus 3 rupees for fresh fruit, totaling 13 rupees. And yeah, water's water. So so she comes back with the jug of water, and she goes, so how was everything?
It was great. Thank you. I especially like the way the toast is cut. Not many places cut the toast like that. I love it.
The
Thank you.
the corners, honestly, I mean, between you and me, there's really no other way there's no better way to cut it. So
I know, right?
like some people cut it like right down the middle, and it's just
Yeah, that's just so boring. But
yeah, yeah. Getting that first bite of the corner, like that's something special. I mean, maybe that's just because how my mom always did it, but yeah, just that one bite in the corners, it's my favorite bite of toast.
yeah, that personal touch. So thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Now she's just kind of like standing there.
Well, here you go. And he gives her 15 rupees.
All right. She goes, I'll be right back with the change.
No, 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 no change.
Oh, thanks. I'm not used to that. I appreciate that.
No, no, absolutely my pleasure. Great service, great company, great conversation. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Gully.
You're welcome.
And she kind of like skitters off. Um, and you can like kind of see her like bouncing around from like with the few remaining tables. Um, is there anything else you want to do before you make your way out?
No, looking around, I don't see any of my party members that have come in for food. So yeah, I'll head on out to start looking for them.
All right. Um, you remember the direction of a fiend, so you kind of like start to head in that direction. Um, and as you start to wander off, in an eastward direction, just kind of like keeping an eye out for anybody. You start to come to where the weapon shop is, but you see a few stores down, a fiend is coming out of another store holding this really nice hemp sack.
Oh, hey, Afine. Good morning. Just had some of the best toast, like ever. You don't want any? That's fine. No worries.
Oh, a fiend's muted.
Yeah.
She said she'll be AFK for a second.
Okay. All right.
Ah.
So
Okay.
we'll okay. So as you start to approach a feed, and you kind of like wave in her general direction to kind of like catch her attention, we will go to the into the weapon store where
Okay.
Leto and Deacon are present.
Nice. So can I ask you, the Kakariko bow? Can you make sure that that functions the way that I think that it functions, which is how it says that it functions?
Okay, hold on. Let me bring it up on the other page.
Because I gave my Kakariko bow away to somebody that immediately stopped showing up. I would kind of like one back, especially if it works the way that it sounds like it works.
All right, let's see. I have not looked at it in a bit, so let's see. Okay. I confirm.
Okay, cool. So it just has the bonus. Like, there's no special thing I have to do for the bonus.
So what the bonus is, I'm gonna make it so it's visible. But
Appreciate it.
the attack bonus, like
Yeah.
the bonus ability.
No, like it says. So here, I'll just read it to you if you don't mind.
Yeah.
It says it has plus 20 range, and it just says you have a +2 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this weapon. And then it goes on about if you're a Kokiri or a Deku, there's some other
Okay.
stuff.
So yeah, the +2 bonus to attack and damage is simply referencing it as a +2 short bow.
Cool. Okay.
But
I
yeah.
wanted to make sure of that before I made any expectations.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Discounting the bonus ability, the racial ability for the Kakariko bow,
Yeah.
it's a +2 short bow with +20 range.
Cool. Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
So yeah, I would like to ask I would like to just kind of enter the weapons store. And yeah, I'll definitely be on the lookout for one of those on the off chance they might have one.
All right. Okay. So, I will comment on that in a second.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I
And
apologize.
just to like get like a whole like general feel of like the environment. Okay, so
Yeah,
Lita,
definitely.
what brings you to the weapons store? Or I'd
I
say
was
the
just going with
weapons
Dekun.
and armor store. Okay, so like you're not kind of like looking for anything that catches your eye or anything of that particular.
Not at the moment. I have ideas, but I'm gonna let Dekun do everything he needs to do. I just
Okay,
have ideas.
so very easily spotted, Deacon. There is a kind of like behind the clerk, like above him on a plaque, there's a Kakariko bow, and there's also some bit of writing on the plaque.
Wow. I bet that says something really cool.
And there's an elderly Kokiri male standing behind the counter, and he's got like one of those like ear those like old school hearing aids that's like a horn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And,
Nice.
and he kind of like leans in and he goes, "Hey."
Oh, so Deku is literally like for a couple seconds, he's like caught with the sparkly eyes looking at the Kakariko bow, and then like politeness overcomes him, and he waves to the old man with the cursory, with the cultural Kakariko greeting of Ohayo gozaimasu. How is it going today?
And he's like he's leaning over and he grabs this like really like pair of Coke bottle glasses off the counter and like puts them on. He goes, "Hi, how you doing?"
I'm doing okay. How about you?
Good, good. A little
That's
stiff,
good to hear.
a little
Oh,
stiff.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Haven't crap my pants today. So that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you coming for put me in the home?
No, Grandpa. We're here to do some shopping.
Ah, I can
Uh,
help you with that.
Thanks.
Um,
I I can't help but notice that there are some words, or quite possibly letters and numbers. Do you see that bow up there?
Yes.
and his eyes start to go, but very slowly his body begins to turn.
Uh,
What language is it in, by chance? I know quite a few.
oh, that's true. That's true.
That's Kokiri. Am I misspeaking? What's the Kokiri language?
Deku.
Deku.
I don't know. I
And
just
I
know
speak it.
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Let's go Deku. Just yeah. Yes. Yes. It's Deku. That's written in the language of our people.
Ah, nice.
Ah.
I know what it says.
Do you know what it says? I think you're
I
the
can
best
read it.
reader of the group.
What do I look like? Of course I know what it says. I wrote it.
Oh, what's it
Shame.
say?
Whippersnappers, all fresh and think they're so smart. Says because that is the legendary Kokiri bow. You see, that was the bow that purged the spirits beyond the wall.
Deacon's eyes light up. No kidding. The spirits are gone?
What is Leto thinking of this?
Is that actually what it says?
Yes, it says here, and now he's like he's kind of like pointing to like.
No. I'm looking at the plaque. What does it actually say?
Oh, okay. So you're asking me. You're not asking him to like.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm asking you.
Okay. So the plaque reads, "This bow once belonged to the great and powerful Ruru, who protected this village by slaying the spirits beyond the wall."
Oh, wow. How long ago was that, mister?
What?
Mr. Oh, sorry. Leo, did you read that off to me? I'm sorry. Or,
Dude,
um,
Dekun, it says that belonged to Ruru, who slayed the spirits outside the village and protected you guys.
thank you, Lito. I appreciate it. Deacon gets that, like, sparkly-eyed thing again as he asks the old man, how long ago Ruru saved the village?
Long time ago. I was just a wee Kokiri. Yeah, long time.
Okay. So I have a spell that cures deafness. Can I do some kind of check to see if I think that will work? As I have a bit of a habit of casting these spells and they don't work. Not that I'm complaining, I'm just explaining.
I mean, he's not technically deaf.
Fair point. Okay, never
Like,
mind then.
like I would say, like, if he had like, you know what? Actually, you know what? Give me a medical check to
Ooh,
try to determine
okay.
if his deafness is simply due to his aging or if something happened to cause deafness.
Okay. 20. Dirty.
His eardrums do appear to be ruptured. He
Okay.
his ears kind of like it looks as if he has um like cauliflower ear around both of his ears, and then there
That's
does appear
rough.
to be signs of rupturing.
So regenerate would work, right? Because they're like busted,
Yeah.
men stuff like that. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. So I'm going to I'm going to say, Mister, could I hold your hand for a second? I want to show you something cool.
Which hand?
Um, your favorite one.
Ah. All right. He reaches his hand out and um give me a perception
Okay.
check.
Okay. One second. Uh, oops, wrong one. 6.
Okay. He reaches his hand out. His favorite hand.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So I gently take his hand with one of my hands.
Hmm.
Just kind of like and I take out like gently like one of my hand crossbows. Oh wait, no, it has to be a melee weapon. Fuck. Um I take out my rapier, but like not from the like I'm drawing it on you thing, like I'm holding it by the blade.
Uh-huh.
Um and I show him I was given this by a town guard once a long time ago. And I try to tell him the story of like how I got this for Kato from Kato for saving Zora's domain. And meanwhile I'm just using that as my arcane focus to regenerate.
Mhm. And by the way, anything is a melee weapon if you try hard enough.
That's good to know. I will keep that in mind forever. You don't. I do have something that gives me proficiency in all melee weapons, so
Hey,
technically speaking, you have just unlocked something very dark within me.
nice. I'm sure I won't come to regret that throwaway line later at all.
Not at all.
Oh, all right. So you cast the spell and
Yeah.
with okay, so the spell has been completed. You can see that um he does not seem to be aware, but you can visually see that his ears are starting to kind of like the swelling is starting to recede and they're starting to take a more traditional form of what a elderly kokiri's ears should look like.
Nice. It takes about 2 minutes to set in, so I just kind of like finish up the story and then I put my rapier away. And then like I imagine like I just kind of stretch out the story for like 5 minutes. and then just like I ask him at the end if he heard all that okay.
And he takes the hand that is not being held and he goes to like take the hearing aid away from his ear, very quickly realizing that he's not even holding his hearing aid.
Oh, good bit. I didn't even notice that. Sorry.
And you see him just ever so briefly kind of ponder what is happening. And he goes, I can hear. I can hear.
I smile at him and I nod emphatically and I'm like, "That's right. It sounds like you deserve better than whatever happened in that battle, Ruru. You've been serving Kakariko for a long time. And it's about time it appreciates you back."
He goes, Ruru. He goes, I haven't been called that name in ages. Was you did this?
Yeah, I have a spell that I learned a long time ago. Kind of brings back certain things that were lost. Just as it sounds like you saved this city when it was otherwise possibly lost. It seemed like a fair trade, mister.
Well, I did what I could do. And he starts to, like, his eyes start to get lost in the memories that you can tell he hadn't thought about for quite some time. It's like I was a younger boy back then. I did what I could do because there were others that couldn't. And if I had the opportunity, I would do it all over again.
I smile at him, very, very like happy. Maybe close to tearing up a bit. But trying not to show that one. And he says, "I'm really glad, Ruru. Um, I just, um, it it sounds like you've done something really great for everyone. I know I may not have known you back then. I may not really know you now, but I'm glad that I could ever help you in some way. Um you if you really if you slew those spirits, you did this town a service that I don't think anyone else ever could."
I don't know about that, but I mean, if not me, it would have been somebody else. I'm sure there's plenty of good townsfolk here, and I just did my bit.
Well, even if you're right, I'm glad that you did. I hope we can find a way to heal this town again someday.
Well, I know I don't have the energy for it.
Well, honestly, I think after everything you've done, it's time you get some time to relax, Mr. Ruru. It's time you took it easy.
I'm not
And just
going in the home.
You are not going in the home, especially now that you can hear. I don't think that'll be as much of a problem.
I could do. I contribute, and I don't.
Absolutely.
I'm not going in the home. I don't care what they say.
Absolutely, Ruru. It's there's a lot more out there for you. There's a lot more out there for all of us, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, uh, um, well now I feel like we 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 gotta get this ledger out of the red somehow.
Oh,
I'm sure you didn't come in here
um,
just to fix this old man's ears.
Deacon smiles, and it's like, maybe I didn't, but I mean, I'm glad I could. Yeah, he smiles and he just kind of like rubs the back of his head, and he's like, well, a while back, we were out adventuring, and I got a Kakariko bow a long time ago, and well, I gave it to somebody that I thought could use it, and then I never saw them again. So I was hoping to get another one.
I knew a guy like
Um,
that. Didn't give him a bow. That'd be silly.
yeah. Deacon chuckles and nods. He goes, I think you're right. I think I learned my lesson this time. Me think me maybe not do that again.
Uh, so
Yeah,
you want my
I,
bow?
um, he smiles and goes, I think it's a very nice bow, but I understand if it's too much sentimental value. I mean, I know something like that is genuinely priceless. I know there's no money that could buy something like that. Especially Deacon smiles and shakes his head. Especially not to some fool who gave away his own.
I mean, you
A
make
pretty
a
good
good argument against yourself. I'll give you
Deacon
that.
chuckles. That's what me best at. Deacon smiles. And he just says, he's been having fun. And he says, well, um, I maybe I could I could sell a thing or two to you if that would be okay. And I I put down my two hand crossbows, like the non-magical ones, and they're kind of like slightly worn, but Deacon's been taking as good care of them as he could. He kind of like repolishes them as he like puts them on the table. And he's like, these have been with me for somehow 5 years now, apparently, according to time. And he like scrunches up his face for a second as if he's trying to figure it out. But I think in turn it's time I passed these on myself. A good friend of mine said that maybe it's time I seek a different style of archery. One of the reasons I was curious about the bow.
Well,
Um,
he looks at it, he's like, it's got some worn to it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You've seen some
Could
action
fix that if you
yourself.
like.
No, that is a fine patine.
Hugh nods. Oh yeah, these. Sorry, Ludo. What did you say? I apologize.
Could fix them. I have mending. I could have made
Oh,
them.
no, I
It's fine with
appreciate
them.
it. Sorry. But yeah, Hugh nods. He says, "I can't even count how many battles these have been with me through, but I kind of feel, on one hand, I do feel the same way, that I think you might about your bow, but on the other hand, I find these days that well, he he kind of like rubs the back of his head, and it's like things without the touch of magic to them just don't seem to really hurt the types of things I have to fight these days. I think you can relate with the bow. It's just kind of magic, it affects things differently, and these ain't got the magic anymore. And as sad as I am to part with them, I don't know. It's interesting to look at them, but sometimes Deacon shrugs and yeah, just kind of like rubbing the back of his head, like fluffing his leaves a little bit.
So,
Um, if
okay.
anything,
So,
oh
quick
sorry,
question, just for my personal reference. So where is the bow? Where is the Deacon's crossbow?
I have put them both on the counter in front of the guy.
Okay.
I used to wield two at once, and then they said you couldn't do that in the rules, so I just have two of them. But anyway, so yeah, I put them both on there, and I said, if nothing else, I was thinking since you have a legendary weapon yourself, maybe you could I don't know, hang these up next to it or something, and remember me someday.
So River looks at you, his eyes piercing. He raises what you now recognize to be his not favorite hand, and he's holding it open and like holding it in the direction of the bow, and his hand begins to shake as if he's trying to pull the bow off the wall, and a silence fills the store as everyone just looks at the bow, waiting for it. And from the stockroom behind, that is situated behind the deck, you, you hear a voice go, "Stop it, Grandpa, that's not how it works." And this much younger looking Kokiri comes out from the back room and grabs a stepping stool and comes and dismounts the bow from the plaque and puts it on the table next to
Oh,
yours, and kind of rolls his eyes in a very adolescent way. I'm going back to counting arrows. And he disappears back into the back room.
um, and so nice. I look at him and I ask him, um, you know, maybe we could trade, and that way we both have keepsakes from each other. And if there's ever anything else you need, um, I I hope you know I'll be looking out for the cities. Next either way. Um,
He puts his favorite hand on the bow. And at this point, you take a look at his hand, his so-called favorite hand, and you notice the formed calluses on two of his fingers from just the years of drawing back the bow. And he takes his other hand and he puts them under your crossbows, and he kind of looks at you in anticipation of doing the same.
yes, I do. I take his bow, and he can basically see like the area around my like pointer finger is like the middle is calloused, as well as like my like other offhand's thumb from loading the weapon.
He says, and he just maybe an inch kind of nudges his bow in your direction,
I take it and I see if it does the spinny thing when I take it, like just kind of like gently,
You
like.
you go to take it, but there's still a firm grasp on it.
Oh, fair. Sorry.
No, it's like that's exactly
Yeah, gotcha.
so
Yeah,
so
no,
so
I take it very gently, like very lightly, like.
yeah. You can like feel the pressure on all these weapons on the table, and he looks at you and he says, "This is all I've ever wanted was to be something to my village. All I've ever wanted was to protect those that I care for so deeply. And although I'm no longer physically able to do so, my gifting of my bow to you gives me peace in knowing that this village is in good hands." And then he nudges it further and releases it.
I take the bow and I just kind of like hold it over my heart and I nod and I say, "Really, thank you, Mr. Ruru. I promise. My top priority has always been this village, and on some level, it always will be. Um, this has been my home, and it's treated me very well. And he just kind of like, you know, he has more of a solemn expression at this point, and then he nods and he goes, know that this bow is going to be soon traipsing into even the forest temple. We plan on taking care of Kakariko, myself and my friends, as best we can, and in the near future, this will go to no idle hands, Mr. Uru."
Then he slowly, achingly bends down beneath the counter, reaching for something. He brings up this old, worn out, dusty quiver with 3 arrows in it. And he then also gestures that to you.
I take it gently, and I take a peek at the arrows inside.
They have a faint glow to them.
I uh, uh, I look at him and I go, "Oh, thanks again. What are these? They look really nice."
Looks at me and says, "Well, you'll know when you know."
Gotcha.
It says they're the last 3 in existence, and I don't have it in me to risk missing a shot.
Mm. His his eyes go a little wide, and he nods very solemnly, and he says, "Got you. I won't miss."
I have faith. At this point, he's visibly starting to lose energy. He's starting to hunch over a bit. His voice is starting to become a little bit labored. His grandson at least 2 times since he brought the bow down, has kind of like peeked his head out to kind of check on his grandfather.
Gotcha. I hmm, I I I get the hint, and I go to shake his hand and just thank him again, and says I hope to see him again someday soon, where I can tell him stories about this.
For his state of exhaustion and his age, his handshake is surprisingly firm and strong, quite possibly from years of using that bow.
Mm.
Says, I'm sure we'll meet again, and you will come and tell me your stories.
Definitely.
Yes. Did I get your name?
Yeah. Well, no. My name is Deacon.
He laughs. He's like, I'm the old one. I forget.
Yeah. No. um.
And he kind of like a minute. He just kind of goes,
We
and
got that in common. Don't worry.
he chuckles with a certain familiarity, and at this point, his grandson comes out, and he kind of like ducks under and like, you know, steadies his grandfather. He's like, come on, let's go, Grandpa Rupert. Let's get you some sleep.
Mm.
And
I nod. And oh, sorry.
no, and then they start to like turn and head towards the back of the room, and Ruru looks up at his grandson with these like it's like wide eyes, but not in like a I'm trying to figure out how can I describe it. He looks up at his grandson as if he's like going to tell him this fantastical story, as if he just learned something. And well, at this point, are you guys going to wait around for the grandson to come back to do further business, or are you going to head out?
I'm out. Sorry.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Okay. What
Yeah,
about
I'll follow.
Okay. So as you guys start heading out the store and they start heading to the back room, you hear Ruru say to his grandson, he goes, "That's Guru's boy."
Oh, damn.
And the grandson just goes, "Sure it is, Grandpa. Sure it is." So, you make your way out of the store, and do we have a fiend back?
Yes, sorry.
Wonderful.
I'm
Okay.
back for a while.
Wonderful. So, you know what? Let's take this with Afine and Gully. So Afine, as you were coming out of the store while Deacon and Lita were still in the store, the moment you were coming out of the store, you could see that Gully was coming down the way from enjoying his breakfast, and and he looks maybe not completely well fed, but he looks as if he's fed and had a positive experience. And he kind of, from the distance sees you and waves to catch your attention.
Wave back and head over. Good morning.
Hey, Fiend! I
Good
just
morning,
had
Gully.
some very good toast. And I even got apple butter off the secret menu.
I'd be glad to hear that if I knew what it was. So congratulations.
Yeah. It's quite the delicacy. I mean, if you're familiar with like your jams and jellies, it's think of a more refined, rich. I won't say healthier product, but it's very good. That, or you can use their nutter butter spread or whatever nutty butter spread. Nutter. Well, some
Has it?
kind of nut spread they have. It didn't sound too appealing.
I'll have
But
a
yeah,
taste.
if you want to, put a little something on your tummy, I highly recommend it. Oh, and the fruit. Oh, the fruit was to die for. OMG. So good. Mwah. So good.
Sounds good, but I'm alright.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So, what you up to?
Just picking up something to keep my mind off the obvious. Sorry about
Okay.
that.
No, you don't need to apologize about anything. You're good. No worries. Oh, something to take your mind off things. So, what do you have? What do you have here? I know I'm being nosy. If I'm asking too many questions, I can back off. No worries. And I
No,
think I saw the other guys go into a store over there also.
no, it's really alright. We should probably meet up with them though. It's just an old hobby I used to do as a child and gave up. Thought it might be a good idea to pick up again.
Hobbies are
Embroidery.
great at getting our mind off things.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Definitely try it out. Let me know how it goes. And I don't know. If you're too good at it, I might have you try and teach me.
I certainly wouldn't mind.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Well, want to walk on over? Keep
Sure.
walking and talking.
So have you ever sewn before?
Have I ever what before?
Sewn. Used
No,
hand
no,
thread?
no, no. I have not. I mean, do you see these big, huge, fat fingers? I don't know if sewing will really work for me. Unless they make them bigger, but then I guess it kind of wouldn't work to so small, would it? I don't know.
I don't know. There are certainly some forms.
I mean,
I
I'd be
know.
willing to try it for sure.
I know for leather work they do use pretty big needles and thread, and strength is often quite required.
Yeah, now see, that sounds more like my speed.
Yeah. I think it's in principle it should be the same thing, just in different size.
Well, maybe I shall try. You know what? I'll watch you a little bit, and then maybe see if I can try my hand with some leather work.
Sounds good.
All right, so hey, Lito, you in here? Deacon?
So
Oh yeah, there you are, guys.
at this point, they do exit, and you can see um, the deacon has with him a fancy new bow, um, and you know what? How are you guys looking as you leave the shop?
I'm staring at this thing with reverence and nothing less.
And what about Lito?
It was just kind of like rolling back a tear because he heard the guru comment. He's like, "He'll never know."
Exactly. And it's like Deku's like, I could tell him, but I don't know. It's just
Well, you could tell him.
yeah. Maybe I should. Wonder how he knows, Mr. Guru. Anyway, and then he sees Gully and Nafine, and he is suitably distracted. He says, "Hi, hi guys, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. Met really nice man. He gave me this bow in return for my crossbows."
It's also very
Oh,
dusty inside of
sweet.
that place.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to say about that.
um, yeah. How are you guys? How's your morning been?
It's been quite nice so far. Gully?
Hmm,
Yeah, I was able to snag some pretty good toast.
good to hear it. Um, so hey, it was I was talking with Lito, and since I had oh thank you, um since I had basically like apparently I had like weird funky glow or something like that that I found out when I cast Identify on myself. So he wanted me to cast Identify on you guys too, and him to make sure that none of us have any weird scry type spells affecting us right now. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, fire away.
Thanks.
That's alright.
Okay, so I cast Identify on all, like each of them individually. I use a spell slot for each one, so it only takes like 3 collected minutes. And yeah, just to see if there are any magical effects on any of them.
Okay.
Uh,
In what order do you cast?
Gully, Lido, Afine.
Okay.
Lito was gonna step back and let them go first.
Okay,
He's thinking of
Gully,
other
Afine,
things.
Lido.
Gully, Feed, Lido. All right. So you do Gully first, and um,
Man, you're getting all kinds of magic coming off Gully.
True, true.
yeah. So you kind of like sort through the magic that you know is coming off of Gully. Um, and in fact, like those particular radius of auras is probably a contributing factor as to why you didn't notice with him, and given the thickness of an armor. Now that like kind of like what to pinpoint that you've seen it in yourself, you notice like in the exposed parts of his armor is really where you're putting the focal point to see if you can find the similar reaction to yourself. And in fact, yes, you do see that with Gully too. So,
Okay.
but nothing beyond that. Like you get exactly what you expect.
Okay.
So then you go to Lido, and he kind of like sidesteps a little bit. Um, with a little look. That just lets you indicate that let's do a fiend first, and um, a fiend very very much so. Her aura does her like swirling radiating aura does seem to kind of come off a little bit more than um, than yours and Gully's. Give me an insight check. Oh, you know what? Give me either insight or Arcana on this. To and depending on what you choose and how you
The
roll.
old insight.
The old insight. All right.
4. I know nothing.
Is that 4?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, you notice that it's ever so subtle, but the swirling effect is coming off of Athena a little bit more, and
Hmm.
it seems to be a little bit more intense.
Mm.
Oh,
Okay.
almost as if like the different auras are intentionally like folding in on each other rather than having a
Mm.
swirling effect.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. Okay. And then I go for Lido.
All right. So you go with Leto, and um in comparison to the 3 that you've done so far, Leto's effect is similar,
Mhm.
but the swirling effect is lessened in terms of like the pace of it, and there seems to be a singular concentration of color um, originating towards the front of his body.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
how much
I'm
of
sorry.
this do you express to each of the people? Because
Hmm.
it identifies based on your perception. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Hmm. So Deegan looks very thoughtful, and he says, "Lots of timey-wimey, wibbly magic, but no like dangerous spells, no scrying, no like going to make you explode when you take a nap, nothing like that." Um. So I give Leto like a thumbs up, and just tell him that like there are no glyphs of XP.
Okay.
Um. I guess I could try to break down the other stuff, like just to have that like rough in character. Um I'm still thinking of how he would do that.
I mean
I mean
that does
obviously
make
everyone already
sense.
knows to some extent, but
Yeah. I mean given
like
like
I feel like
that this is like a new experience, like it's hard to like it's one thing to see it and it's a whole nother thing to
Mm,
give an accurate elaboration on it.
mm. Well, it's like I just think that like in Deku's mind, I don't think he really like could just like explain it yet. So I'm gonna just hold off on that until he's like thinking about it. Like Dekun.exe is like buffering. You just see the little circle icon above his head.
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously you all know it out of character and stuff, but it's just like I just need like an hour or two to think about that.
Makes perfect sense. All right. So for everything that you guys have done today, it's still relatively early in the day. Uh, in fact, like within the hour, Gully has just finished breakfast. So,
Mhm.
we are like I would say approaching maybe like early afternoon. There's like real
Mhm.
like 10 o'clock, like real early. Um,
Oh wow.
yeah. So yeah, what would you like to do?
Hmm. Um. So guys, what would you kind of like to do today?
I have ideas, but I always like to let everybody else choose first.
Hmm. Well.
Uh,
Oh. Sorry. What was that?
I'm happy to do or go wherever you guys think best.
I was thinking it might be worth it to head to Lake Hylia for a little bit. Lake Hylia, we could talk to Rohan, maybe just find out some general information. But that's all that I really know about, so I'm not sure. How about you, Gully? Do you have anything you wanted to look into?
I mean, do we need to be venturing to these other temples? I don't know. I mean, if you think Rohan can give us answers, you know what? Yeah, I'm fine with that. Let's go get answers.
Oh, I mean, no pressure. I just, yeah. Um, I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think collectively? Like, if you'd rather do something else, it's understandable.
If you look at Leo at this moment, he's kind of biting his lip and scratching his chest. Because, he's not a big fan of Hylia.
Fair. Hmm.
Well,
Okay,
I just
maybe
had
we'll avoid that
one.
today.
Well, I had one big thing that I wanted to try out today. While we're at least here.
What you got in mind, Chief?
Well, I was gonna make a pun of some sort, but I can't come up with one. I want to check out the chasm.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Not like go into it, but just check the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, I was kind of asking around about it, so yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I asked one person about it, so not like I was really doing a whole lot of investigation.
Yeah. So, Fiend, Goop, do you need food? Because I can make like good berries, and then we don't have to stop at all.
Works for me.
I'm alright, thanks.
So
I'll
I'll
never
make
turn
some.
down a good berry because they're so
I won't.
good berries.
I'll
Hell
also
yeah.
fill you up for the day.
All
So
right.
good berries it is.
Good
Make a
berries
bunch
all
of them,
around.
hand them out to everybody.
Excellent.
Everybody is now full.
Thank you.
All right.
See, Gully actually pulls out a piece of toast that he had left over.
Nice.
He puts the good berries in the toast, and he puts the bread together and mashes it
Smart.
and
Good.
starts eating it.
Goodberry apple butter sandwich.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So, before we head to the chasm, everyone give me a perception check.
I got a 15.
17?
18.
Okay. All right. So you start to make your way over to the chasm, and it is where it is. Everyone's kind of like everyone in town is, keeping a safe distance from it, just kind of going around their business. Where is everyone positioned in respect to one another? Like I'm hesitant to call it a marching order, but just kind of like are you standing in a line? Are you standing in like a square, or like what is your general?
Have we gotten there yet, or are we walking there?
It's a short trip. I would say that the trip there is largely uneventful. It takes you a couple minutes to kind of walk through town to get there. But that is the important part of it, where
I guess
everyone
I'd
is
be
I was
standing.
standing beside Leto.
I was
Alright.
actually gonna make a comment of like as we walk, was gonna be like, so I think we should all like take like a side, like
Mhm.
two at the end, one on each side, so that way then we can all kind of look at it from different angles.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. So
I'm
so
cool
If
with
you
so you're
haven't
that.
seen
taking
any,
like a 4-point, one north, one south,
Yeah.
one west, one east. Okay, gotcha.
a
All right.
diamond.
Gotcha. Okay. So let me check those again. Okay, I see. I see what happened. You hit insight instead of perception, but they're the same modifiers.
Oh
Is-
no, the insight roll that I
Oh,
what? That was the insight roll for
oh, okay.
like figuring out a fiend's thing.
Right, okay. So you're all right. Okay. So you guys are kind of like surrounding the um the chasm, and in doing so, the Deacon, as you kind of stand there, you feel a warmth that is starting to radiate from your newly acquired quiver.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
hmm,
but being as no one is near you, that you know they don't witness it.
Gotcha. I guess I take a peek inside real quick.
Take a peek, and the light is kind of the first time you kind of peeked in, the light was so faint, it almost looked like it was hard to notice definitively what color it was. And now that you look in it again, the quiver, the arrow tips are illuminating further to the point that you notice that the purple color of the chasm is starting to match the color of the quiver. The cover like
Cool.
emanating from the quiver.
Cool.
Actually,
So
okay, so if you feel like if you are aware, like collectively as a group, that you it is safe to remain 5 feet from the chasm,
mhm.
how close to that 5 feet boundary is everyone getting?
I'm right on it.
All right, so you're right at
I'm
that
probably
5.
saying like I don't trust myself to not get too close to it.
2.5 feet away.
From
So,
the 5 feet or two?
well,
From the 5 feet
like
safe distance.
like to be 5 feet from it is the maximum distance. Like that if you go closer than 5 feet, like from what you've seen, kind of from like falling leaves or whatever, and anything that gets within a 5-foot radius of this chasm just like fucking disintegrates. So you're fairly
But that
confident that
makes like oh sorry.
5 feet is the closest you can get without suffering some negative effects.
But it's really convenient that they don't have to have like a dedicated dump to put all their garbage.
I mean, it's not to say that
Yeah.
hasn't happened.
No,
Say it hasn't been narrated.
I just had to make that joke.
Goalie will he'll go to the 5 feet barrier
Okay,
or
so
threshold.
So we
I'm sticking close to like the 10 feet area,
10 feet.
honestly.
Okay. And I'm sorry, Afine, because I don't want to disintegrate you. What's your number again?
She was 2.5 feet from the 5-foot barrier.
Okay, so you're like 7.5 feet away.
Yes.
Okay.
On the safe side.
Got it. And so not like at the cusp, just a little bit further away. So and then we have Deacon being furthest away at 10 feet. So Gully and Lido, the more time you spend so close to it. Let me check those rolls again just to see if anyone else has boosted. Yeah, no. Okay. So one of the things that Gully and Lido start to notice is that the more they kind of take time to inspect this chasm, at first it looks like it's pulsating. And then you realize it's not pulsating, it's breathing. You can start to hear that there is, from deep within the chasm, almost like a slumbering, very faint growling. You know, like if a bear were sleeping or something like that. And it's coming from deep within the chasm. And the slumbering growl that is happening is happening in exact rhythm with the pulsating of the chasm.
Al doesn't seem familiar, right?
Give me an Arcana check.
I'll definitely blame
Can I give
myself
him an
because I
inspiration?
really want to know.
Am I?
Normally I would say yes, but I would imagine that Deacon is playing is very much distracted specifically by his arrow quiver right now.
That is an excellent point. You are absolutely correct.
Could I aid him?
And we have tons of D4s available as well.
If no, Afine, because you don't notice it.
Right, sorry.
You notice, well, like you see that something has kind of like caught Gully and Lido's attention, but like what they are experiencing, you are not noticing.
Right, sorry.
No, you're good. But yes, so wait, I haven't checked.
It's an 11.
An 11. All right.
You guys want me to find this out? Because I can use the D4s if you want.
That's completely your choice.
Up to you, man.
I don't want to waste them because you guys got them.
It's a team
We
effort.
we got them for them to be used.
Yeah, it's hardly an imposition. I could pick up more too.
Okay, how many are you willing to let me use? We'll ask that.
Whatever you want. We got plenty. We can add more.
I
Use
will
whatever
buy
you need.
you 5 right now. Here, let me check the tokens that I have.
I'm pretty sure we have like 40 or 50 of them. You're
Oh
good.
my god, nice. Okay. Holy
So
shit.
that's a 25.
Okay, so we are at 25.
Yes.
All right.
I feel like that's appropriate.
So at
That's a good
25,
number.
there are certain things that I will confirm. I will confirm that there is something living in there. I will confirm that the thing that is living in there is not only what caused the creation of the chasm, but what is emanating this energy that is the destructive force of the chasm. I will acknowledge that it is in a state of hibernation. And I will acknowledge see how I can word it. I will acknowledge that whatever is down there has nothing to do with Ganon.
Okay. So, there is something down there, not related to, the big guy, big bad guy. Um, sleeping, which is a good thing. Yeah, and it basically made this chasm. So I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys will give me like 11 minutes,
Take 12.
okay,
Yeah.
then I am going to step back another 5 feet and ritually cast my favorite spell of all time. Commune with nature. That way I can find out possibly what I think I know.
All right. Now this is a big spell, so we're gonna.
Yes.
So, commune nature. You briefly become one with nature and gain knowledge of the surrounding territory. In the outdoors, the spell gives you knowledge of the land within the 3 miles around you. In caves and other natural underground settings, the radius is
Might
limited
not
to
actually work.
300 feet. The spell doesn't function where nature has been replaced by constructs, such as dungeons and towns. I will say
That
that
won't
doesn't.
work.
I will say that doesn't apply here.
Okay.
You instantly gain knowledge of up to 3 facts of your choice about any of the following subjects as they are related to the area of terrain and bodies of water, prevalent plants, minerals, animals, or people, powerful celestials, fae, fiends, elementals, or undead influence from other planes of existence and buildings. For example, you could determine the location of a powerful undead in the area, the location of a major source of safe drinking water, and the location of a nearby town. So, yeah, one of the things that I'm going to very clearly state in regards to the spell is that the fact that it is in a town is not going to have an inhibiting effect, especially Kakariko Village being so in tune with nature in its existence. It is, in many ways, more so structurally a forest than a town, either way. Uh, but so, 3 points of concern.
So, number one. Let me put it so that way it works with everything. Offhand, do I know if Lionels are creatures or are they like fake creatures or something like that?
I think that you would most likely associate them to like beasts. So, in terms of Lionels, one of the things that you would be familiar with is, especially more advanced Lionels are very like independent. I mean, all Lionels are independent from Ganon unless they've like otherwise been directly subdued. Like their race is not directly associated with Ganon, and the more advanced Lionels have advanced intelligence compared to, say, a red green, say a red, blue, or orange Lionel.
Okay. Check one last little quick thing. Okay. I would like to know if there is a Lionel at the bottom of the chasm.
There is not.
That solves that question. Is it something from another plane? I can specify if you want.
You know what? Specify, and if I feel like I have kind of like geared you into asking the wrong question, I'll reel it back.
Is it a fiend?
Mm. I You know what? Yeah, I think we could safely call it a fiend.
Last question. I'm just going to waste this because I really want to know. Is there only one thing down there?
Yes. There is a singular entity in the chasm.
Okay, so this is what I found out by checking with, nature, because, it's all my thing. So there's one thing down there. It's a fiend kind of creature, and it's not a Lionel, like I thought it might be.
Oh,
So
ooh, demons. That's spooky.
there's only one.
Oh, demon. That even spookier, to be honest.
So it's the reason that, this is here.
Hmm.
So do we want to try and take care of it?
I mean,
'Cause I'm afraid,
eventually, yes, but
well, I'm
but
afraid the longer that it sits here, the stronger it might grow.
I get that.
Why don't we get to it?
Um,
Because doesn't anything that goes in or gets near that, die, disintegrate?
So here's the thing. I'm going to shoot it with lightning.
You're just gonna wake it up, make it come out here.
Yes. That's why
Huh?
before we do that, we're going to evacuate the town.
Good idea. Okay.
Also, I can't see in the dark, but I can make it very rainy if you give me a little time to. That way, then lightning on it might actually do like more.
Hmm. But we're gonna do this out here in the open, right? So, yeah. Okay.
We're definitely not going down.
No, 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 no. Absolutely not.
Home turf, no. So, evacuate, come back here, kick its butt, fill up,
Hmm.
high five,
Yeah, I like that idea. However,
team.
sh- is there any way we can do a little bit more reconnaissance? Figure out a little bit more what we're dealing with? Because it seems pretty powerful if just going near this little chasm here
I can
is deadly.
do one more thing, but it's not going to really be that great. I can, take something like a coin or something and then pop it down there and then try and scry on it. But if it hits it and it wakes it up, that's
But
the
that's if the
biggest
coin actually makes it down there. So, yeah.
two.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Stacy said that a kid fell down there a long time ago.
Oh.
You know what? Never mind. Yeah, never mind. We won't even go anywhere with that thought. Never mind.
Okay, I want to check one more thing.
Wait.
So,
Technically, she didn't say a kid fell down there. She said a kid had an accident there.
I just assumed that the accident was a kid falling in.
He to
Maybe he
elaborate
just
like
got a
out
little
of game.
singed.
He got too close and disintegrated.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well. Bad way to go, kid.
I am going to do one last thing. I'm not going to get that close, but I am going to take, as I have one, my bag of biting, go up to the 5-foot range, and then just try to swing it inside holding onto the strap to see if it does anything to it, since it's magical.
Bye-bye, bag.
Bag of biting, put your hand in and you get bit.
It was not
Uh,
only a bag.
give me 1d10.
9.
9. Okay, so
9 points of damage.
so you wave the bag in just over the 5-foot radius, and immediately the bag starts to disintegrate, and you take 9 points of fire damage from the disintegration.
Okay.
Because like you were waving it, you didn't throw it, right? Like you had physical contact
Yeah.
with the bag. Okay.
I had.
Yeah.
So, that sucked.
I can
Like,
see that. Are you sure you want to do this now?
I feel like, well, you have a valid concern about leaving this for too long. I have already used up a major amount of my spell slots just by casting Regenerate, so I can't really bounce us out of here if shit goes wrong. Sorry, I should say that more in character. But yeah.
well, here's the thing. If things start going wrong, do we really want to run away and let them take the town?
Then maybe we shouldn't do this in the first place. Because it seems like it's in stasis right now. And if it starts going anywhere, we can always come back. I love Kakariko as much as the next guy, but you gotta pick your battles.
Wouldn't it be better to hit it hard while it's in stasis versus when it's okay? Wouldn't that do more damage?
Or you just make it mad?
I just don't know how we even damage something that disintegrates everything it touches. Like, we can't just jump in there, you know what I'm saying?
No,
I can
no, no.
fire
That's
off.
why. No, that's why Leto's gonna lightning bolt it. But before we do any of that, we want to clear the town.
Mm.
Well, also, do you remember if Flora can feel more than just the infantry?
Uh,
Infantry?
no.
Okay. Because I'm wondering if, she can kind of like be like, see how far it goes underground, or maybe like whatever. And we could always try and like go down to like at an angle and then
Mm.
throw stuff at it that way.
I cast sending on Flora. I go, Mosh Mosh. Uh, so how were and Deacon literally just starts it that way, like he's just like having trouble like parsing this. We're looking into sorting out that big chasm. Is there anything you can tell us about it?
Not in so few words.
By sending on her, be right there.
All right. So, does the entire party travel
I
to the Great Deku Tree, or just part of the party? Does anybody want to keep watch on the chasm? I guess is the more appropriate question. Further inspect it.
I'll hang
Yeah.
back.
This is probably going to be the worst way to put it, but I'd also like to hang back to play with it.
Okay.
fair enough.
All right. And what
Okay,
about-
so the two nature guys are going to go that way.
Oh, isn't this how we started out?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So, pretty sure how this episode's gonna end. So, we'll start off with Leo and Deacon heading over to see Flora in the Great Deku Tree, and you
Wait, before we go,
Yeah.
what's the closest tree to where they are?
um you mean like from where they are at the chasm?
Yes.
I would say not very far. I mean, either way, like again, I mean, you're pretty much surrounded by a forest. So,
Oh, I'm trying to find out a tree that me and D could just jump through and be literally right back there, or as close as possible.
I would say closest tree reasonably 50 feet.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So you head to, and you make a good mental note of that specific tree, of course. So you head to the Great Deku Tree, where you find Flora inside, and she has visibly these mix of emotions stemming from your questions and interest, and so right as she sees you, she's like, do you really think that one you can get rid of the chasm, and two, that it's a smart thing to tamper with?
No and no.
Also, two of us, the smartest people, or creatures, and not the smartest people.
Well,
Poking things with a stick.
she's like, that doesn't give me a whole lot of faith in my
Heroes of
village.
time.
The thing is, I don't think this is a good idea, but at the same time, we need to come to you to figure out what we do and don't know about this thing, because it is, if nothing else, very important to know what's going on, because, well, if there is anything that we can possibly do, we should know about it in advance. Or if there's anything we shouldn't do, we should know about it in advance, just to consider all options open.
Also, since you've been here for quite a while, the thing is, how
You
long
called her old.
has
Rude.
Oh no, she's not that
I'm
old.
teasing
She's
you.
like, whatever. But since Flora, you've been here for quite a while, and you know the area. Has it changed since it first started? Has it gotten like bigger? Has it gotten smaller? These are the kind of things that I'm trying to know.
It hasn't changed since the night that it arrived.
Okay.
It was, and I'll tell you what I know, but unfortunately, there's much that I don't know. And in terms of like age reference for Flora, um, although she hasn't given her direct age, just from like dealing with her, you realize that at this point she's kind of like a later teenager, kind of like roughly what like a 16 to 17-year-old human might be like in terms of maturity and reasoning and things like that. Um, and she's like, well,
More than half of Lito's age.
I'm talking about a human equivalency. Um, so she points
I
out, yeah,
no, nothing. I want to. I didn't mean to. I have a thing that I want to say, but I want to let her finish. So I'm sorry.
okay. So she says it came one night. It was a perfectly clear sky, and all of a sudden, this purple lightning struck the ground, and I went to investigate, and I was able to determine that there was something in there that was wounded, and I still do not know what it is, but I do know that one, it is healing, and two, um, the energy that is emanating from the chasm is what is keeping it down there. Past that,
So I
there's not much else.
really don't want to, but I have to. I want to make sure she's not just lying to us because she knows what it is.
We're insight checking Flora.
I I'm worried that, in this world all kinds of bad things are happening and she was there when it happened. Maybe it's something to her and now it's protecting her.
The
She's
audacity. I
protecting
love
it.
it. Okay. So, well, to like put it, to a much grander scale, like Flora is the direct seedling offspring of the Great Deku Tree, as
You know all
enough.
that cool stuff I said about Norin? She's like second place.
Oh no, we're gonna do this
She's
insight
also
check.
an innocent.
No, I know. I'm just explaining.
We are absolutely going to do this insight check, but
I
just
just wanted to make that joke for like
yeah.
all that stuff you were gonna say.
So
All that stuff about Norin, second place.
so she will, presumably with enough time going on, she will become the new Great Deku Tree, but she is nothing but a mere child sapling right now who is, you know, gaining roots and finding her way and learning things. So, and the reason that I point that out is because Flora has access to many things that the Great Deku Tree would have access to. So when she witnesses things like, for example, where um, this chasm is in the village, in the ground, um, it is kind of intertwined, albeit unintentionally, within like the root system of Kakriko Village, and so without like physically delving into it, she has a much closer point of view from what it is. Um, okay, so that being said, all right, let's insight check Flora.
Not gonna guide myself because I really don't want to do this, but I'm still doing it.
All right, if you would have done guiding,
25.
okay, 25. She's being uh in she's being like 90%. She's being completely truthful, but she's being roughly 90% forthcoming. She is, you get the intention that she does not think that you have bad intentions, but she is concerned about what this will do to Kakariko Village if it gets out of control.
Okay.
So I have only one. So Deacon, like, his eyes have like glazed over, as against his will he formulates a plan, and he just says, "So, what do you think the odds are this barrier?" And he takes a deep breath and he says, "It extends into the ethereal plane." I know how to get us down there. I don't want to do this.
So don't.
No, I know, but I have to. But I need no. I'm locked in now. I need to. I'm going to figure out whether this goes into the ethereal plane. I have to know this now.
Are you asking Flora?
Yes.
She says, unfortunately, the ethereal plane is not my forte. It is not my area of expertise.
If I take you to the ethereal plane, can you use your Deku's like tree powers to figure this out?
I don't want to. If
Valid.
if something were to happen to me,
No, valid point. Valid.
it puts a lot of jeopardy.
Understood. All right. So I clap my hands together and I turn to Leto. Want to throw rocks at something from inside the ground?
Well, you could send a scout.
That's a really good idea. Let me huh. Let's
Because
see.
I can always summon some like birds and be like, totally go in there, and then if everything's okay, we're gonna bring you back in like a minute. And if you're good, you'll be good. If you're not,
That's genius.
you're a
Oh,
fake creature and you'll be fine.
that's genius. Yeah, we go to the ethereal plane, we summon the birds go into the thing. If they get disintegrated, we're not doing this. If they don't get disintegrated, we'll talk. Deal?
Sure.
Okay. All
Let's
right.
not tell the others, because this is a terrible plan.
Okay.
We're gonna die. It's gonna be awesome.
We'll disintegrate. At least it will be quick.
Meanwhile,
Okay, so you head to the ethereal plane, cast your spell.
No. I'm still working on it.
Oh, okay.
I have to like physically get back there first though.
Well, Leto has the tree teleportation, which
True. Oh.
unless
So
you want to give it like a couple of thought as we walk, and then
Yeah.
if for some reason by the time we get back, Gully and Afine have like a brilliant idea, we could totally go with their idea.
This is true. I do want to see what they actually have to think about this.
okay.
I want to at least run this by them. I can't not tell them. Because if we just like are mysteriously dead and just never come back, that would be very rude.
Okay. So while this is going on, before Deacon and Leto come back, is there anything that Gully or Afine are kind of interested in doing? Do they try to like? Are there any methods of investigation that they would like to take part in, to try to understand better what's going on? And also, does Gully express to Afine what he's witnessed about the breathing and the growling and all that?
Yes, he will relay that. Yes.
Okay.
For whatever reason, I was thinking Leto experienced that, but yes, if Gully also was able to perceive that, yes,
Yeah,
he will relay that
Gully and Leto
information
both,
to me.
experienced it.
Okay. Yeah, he will relay that information.
Okay.
Okay, this area has suddenly become a lot more horrifying and a lot more fascinating.
It didn't have to.
Horrifying and fascinating. I love it.
Your balls. It's a Leto thing.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So Gully kind of like brings Afine up to speed on what him and Leto were able to witness. That there
Yeah.
is in fact some type of living entity down there that is in some sort of hibernating or stasis condition, and yeah, I guess that's everything that's been known in that specific circle at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. Gully doesn't try to do anything, super crazy or insane. He's waiting for the guys to come back.
Okay. So,
Oh, sorry.
no, I was going to narrate that you guys come back through, like a tree opens up and you guys pop on through.
No, we were walking back.
Well, then what's the
See
point
if
of the
the spell
tree?
Yeah,
was
we're
Oh, okay.
It was so that we had to get back real quick.
Oh, okay. All right, I understand. Okay. So you're walking on back, having a grand old time, spitballing ideas.
So we get a lot of We get a lot of bombs, and we just throw them down there.
Okay, that does sound hilarious. Um,
Or
okay.
or we somehow get the big Goron to throw a really big rock right there.
Classic. So, I have an idea,
Okay.
right? What if we instead of talking to Flora, and instead of going like, what if we talk and he just like points at the sky to God?
We're gonna
I
go talk
mean,
to Zelda.
ooh, that's a good one too. I was gonna see if I could call down an angel or something.
Powerful.
I wanted to try this spell out.
A bad
Hang on.
idea.
Let me ask. Hang on. Okay, Puck.
Yes.
If I send you a stat block for here, it's called a Kuatl.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah. Um, I'm gonna cast. I'm gonna use my duplication. Cast Conjure Celestial, and I want to wait. But blunt question: do Kuatls even exist in any form? Like, is there even like a celestial I can summon that would help us with this? They just like give us like divine insight on this because I have the spell available. So
Deities at this point, well, in this campaign, are very limited. The most the most powerful of the deities is Hylia, and well,
good point. Okay.
there's a lot that's up in the air that I feel like that I can't comment on because it hasn't been fleshed out yet.
No, that's a good point. Okay, I guess I can't do that. Fuck. Okay.
I mean, honestly, if you wanted to use a spell to contact Hylia, then
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, can you outline what can you just kind of outline what Flora like actually told us about the place? Like, did we give her a chance to talk about it? I'm sorry. I guess I just
I mean, she told you almost everything that she knows.
okay.
She told you about how it
And
came and that some information you already knew, like that there is something alive down there. One of the things you did specifically learn from her is that it came down wounded and it has been regaining its strength ever since, and that the energy that is on top of it is what is actively suppressing it.
Gotcha. So, could I hypothetically legend lore? Like, would you consider this legendary enough for me to legend lore that thing, like the Kakariko Chasm?
S-
Um,
I
yeah,
really
it's
honestly wish that I could. Um,
okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
yeah.
Uh, okay. I'll
Like
think of something.
honestly, I mean, there is like a certain bit of legend to it, and
Mhm.
um,
I guess it's not like widespread enough because it's still just like a thing that exists in Kakariko.
I mean, the best way to think of it is you, in pertaining to this, you are currently living through the legend of it.
Gotcha. That makes sense, actually. I see exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. No worries.
When and if you find out what is down there, um,
Yeah, that makes sense.
that
That makes
that
perfect
will
sense.
open up that will connect a whole lot of dots.
All right. Cool. Yeah. That's fair. Well, I got nothing. I think maybe. Yeah, I think I'm back to saying we probably shouldn't play with this thing then.
Eh,
Like, sorry. That's just everything I got.
well, we have to tell them something. So, thinking we tell them Flora said it's too big and scary. We need to let it sleep for a while, and then we'll totally be able to take care of it later on because we're such heroes and strong guys.
I'm game for that.
And not that we're not going to do it because of the fact that we don't have a plan.
Yeah, no, that's about appropriate. So
Okay.
we're telling her the truth, or telling them the truth, right? Sorry, just teasing.
Yes.
Honestly, I love that Lita was the one who instigated this whole thing, and now he wants to go back and be like, Flora told us we shouldn't do it.
But she said we'll come back and we'll be stronger and then we'll take care of it because she believes in us. That's what Lita
Yeah,
wants to say.
that's fair. That's fair. I'll relay that to to our party members. Yeah. So yeah, Laura said wait until we're older.
That's one of you wants to jump in first.
No takers?
Just pick up a rock and chuck it and see if it disintegrates as soon as it crosses.
Without
5 feet.
hesitation.
So wait, you two are back, and that's what you tell us?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So, wait, what did she say again?
Very scary.
Um.
Don't go
Yeah.
down there just yet because we're not cool enough to take it out because it wants to have a real battle and we're going to be like, totally, we're going to kill you. And it'll be like, oh no, and then run away. She said, come back at a cooler time.
Back at a cooler
I
time. What's better
I
time?
point at Lito.
It's sleeping.
Yes. That's like the weenie way out. We need to like fight man to creature and woman to creature and Deku to creature and Zora to creature.
Mm. Um. Yeah. I feel like I feel like that way doom lies, my dudes.
Or success.
Or death at disintegration.
Do you know how hard it is to get undisintegrated? Don't you? Costs a
Hey,
diamond worth $25,000.
hey, YOLO. You only live once.
Especially with
jump in?
disintegration.
Yes, that's the problem.
Especially with disintegration.
Fairies can't fix that.
Well, I mean, we're pretty strong, but if you think we need to get stronger, okay.
And technically, we have lived thousands of separate lives concurrently and now together.
That is so very true.
what if we like? I feel like if we wanted to do this, it would have to reach like beyond the point of like us holding the same body and just like transcend until there's like 15 of each of us and we all go down there and kick its ass. Like that's the vibe I get from this thing.
Why do we want to
Same.
go down there? No,
Don't
we
want to
want
go
it
down
out
there.
here.
So one last idea. Just put it out there. I could, try and use the sword and just like throw it down there. Maybe it'll hit and be like.
That does sound hysterical.
Or it makes it even more powerful, and then we're really in trouble.
Or it has its own weapon back, and it's never been Ganon's weapon, it's been the demon's weapon this entire time.
Or it's the one thing that can release the demon from its eternal slumber.
Which it.
Ooh, yes, do that.
No,
Wake it
no.
up.
That was not what I was going.
Listen, I used a very specific choice of words before about what the um what the energy emanating from this chasm was.
I miss that choice of words, I think.
I referred to it as a barrier.
Ah. Is this Orihime barrier, healing barrier, bleach?
No.
A plaster.
This is more like sucking life in to heal itself barrier.
So is it leeching the life off this town?
As long as you're not within more than 5 feet away from it, yes. And
I,
more than 5 feet, no.
What you're saying is.
No, I think that barrier is instant suck. Everything around is slow suck.
I mean,
Barrier seems
visually
to
you
still be alive.
see no real like spreading damage from like outside the barrier. Like there's not like a creeping effect. Um, but I
What you're
understand
saying.
I understand the conclusion of that it could be absorbing the energy of the things that are thrown into it. I'm neither confirming nor denying. I'm acknowledging the chain of thought that would lead to that conclusion.
Are we sure it's not a
So,
barrier keeping
Deacon,
it in?
do you have any spells that you'd be able to I mean, I knew you were able to see, magic, in and on us, but would you be able to see any auras or magic, in the ether, in the air around this area to see if maybe it's actually absorbing life into it or hell, I don't know. Does that even make
Um,
sense?
no,
I
yeah, I think the only spell I could cast that would do that would be Detect Magic, which I think Leto has.
Hmm.
Could I cast the invisible?
That's a good one.
Absolutely.
Highly doubt it's not going to do anything, but in case, on the rare chance it does.
So, okay. So, part of the spell is you can see into the ethereal plane. So, there is no invisible effects the um, around your immediate area, but in being able to see into the ethereal plane, it gives you kind of a muddled glimpse of what you would be able to see had you been in the ethereal plane. So, I would say with the spell, you can see what's down there. Or you can see like the general shape of what's down there, a better idea of what you're looking at. So, Um,
Okay.
so as you kind of like look down, first of all, the item, the creature itself is roughly 150 to 200 feet deep. It is a rather large, deep crater. And you can see it's very kind of like compacted on itself, almost as if like the earth is kind of coming in and forcing it into um I'm gonna say like in egg shape. Like it's not in an egg, it's just compressed to that level. And you can see the pulsating of its breath. And um it appears to have severed areas of its body. And yeah, it is undeniably unconscious. Yeah. In fact, I would even say that the breathing itself appears to be labored in the respect that as it's down there, it is, as Flora said, it is healing, but it is also in a constant state of trying to survive because of the barrier. So
Oh,
so the barrier and the creature are two separate entities, and they're basically battling. Maybe not entities is the proper word, but they're two separate things, and they are existing in this stalemate of offense and defense, while this creature is slowly gathering and healing itself.
oh, poor thing.
It has undeniably been through what appears to be a intense and ruthless battle. And if you, with no outside inspiration or guidance, can give me a DC 15 medicine check,
Shit, my headset's busted. Be right back.
I will elaborate further on its physical condition.
I can definitely try.
You can do it.
I
Do it.
cannot do it.
Ah,
All right, 11 is not bad, but you are with that 11, you are able to still kind of make a general assessment to the sheer amount of um, just physical uh, condition of this creature, and it will, although I won't elaborate on it, I will say that as long as the barrier is active, its regeneration will be very much slowed down.
Right. Ufine's just going to crouch down next to the barrier, and I have no idea how evil this creature is, but she's still going to pat the ground comfortingly, just teardrops in the ocean, but still expressing sympathy to it.
Does anybody have detect good and evil?
Not anymore.
Ooh, that is something that would have come in very handy right now. So, as you all kind of gather and still take just a few moments to try to figure out the next move, something happens that has probably never happened in this village, because the moment it happened, everyone in its vicinity got this look of panic, and the ground ever so slightly shakes, but the sound that goes in perfect rhythm to its breathing, you just hear one right after the other, just two. Boom.
Sorry, I missed the last like 5 minutes.
So, did you hear about a fiend see invisible?
Yes, I
Okay.
heard that. Yeah,
Okay.
I heard. Yeah,
Okay.
that was a lot. I heard.
So as you gather around the chasm, trying to figure out the next move, you hear, and the ground ever so slightly shakes, in perfect rhythmic with the creature's breathing. It goes boom, boom, and everyone in the village stops, panic filling their eyes as they look towards the chasm, and they see the four of you. And confusion sets in, maybe anger, maybe as one of the villagers points to you and yells, "What have you done?" And this is where we will end tonight. So, thank you for everyone joining us for tonight's session. Full disclosure and heads up, I have, as I mentioned before, I moved roughly a month ago, and I have just now, a couple days, yesterday actually, been offered a new job and position, which I am very happy and excited for. But unfortunately, it will change my availability and broadcast schedule. So, we're going to say our farewells tonight, and afterwards, I'm going to talk with everyone, and we're going to, fingers crossed, figure out a new day that we can get a good broadcast schedule going. So, we're going to work to upload tonight's session onto our YouTube. So absolutely, go to our link tree, subscribe to our YouTube channel. When we get the new scheduled date ironed out, and when the next definitive broadcast schedule will be, we'll post that information on our Discord. So if you're not part of our Discord, also check out our link tree and get on our Discord. I'll fix the Twitch notifications, so if by chance you are not, thank you, Fuzzy. If by chance you are not part of our Discord, then you'll still get the Twitch notifications when we go live. But either way, we will try to communicate the change in schedule to you guys as quickly and efficiently as possible. But until then, thank you everybody for tuning in. We will have, hoping we'll be able to have a broadcast chat next week. If not, we may have to skip next week's chat broadcast just to kind of adjust to the new broadcast schedule. But either way, we'll make sure we do recaps and we'll keep in touch and everything. So until then, thank you, and everybody, bye.
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 Bye bye.